Thank you so much for doing this, Mr. AudaxSmoke. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Fuck yes.
Doing great.
Fuck yes. We have a lot to talk about.
We have endless things to talk about. Potential in our minds. We'll scare some.
So
I'm sure.
Terrify many. So just in case anyone's listening, we just came out of a moment or two, on my end at least, of sheer terror. There was audio issues. Audax has passed some kind of venereal audio disease to me.
So we're gonna warn everyone today. Today is a public service announcement.
Yes.
That the earbud virus is real. If you can see here, these will get you. Porto got.
I got it, and I'm gonna get you next, listener. So Mr. Audax, what the fuck? What the fuck actually happened with your earbuds? What's the story? Because I saw that there was a thing in your stream where like you needed new headphones. What was the malfunction?
So, it was I was playing. I can't even remember. I think it was just Terraria. So I've been going hard on Terraria. This is a great way to alienate people real early. So I've been playing a lot of Terraria lately.
Fuck yeah, Terraria. We've played Terraria. We had community nights with Terraria. It's a great game.
Okay, never mind. I'm always on the fence about it because it's such an old game, and I'm just now getting to it.
Yeah.
Like, this is an Xbox 360 game, and I'm finally getting into it.
Yeah, I just got into it 2 months ago, maybe.
This is a 10-year-old game, Porto.
Boomers.
What the fuck are we doing?
Boomers unite.
Hey, I'm a strong elder millennial. Thank you very much.
I know, so am I. Actually, that's a good point. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking? That's probably rude.
No, I'm 30. I turned 31 back in July.
Oh, you're a child. You're a child. What are you talking about?
So I'm an elder millennial.
You are. We're in that.
These are the rules now.
We're in that little window that Cranberry and I were talking about. That kind of like 5-year elder millennial where it sort of feels like the shit that people.
There's no boomer next. It's Gen X next, right?
Yeah, but no one wants to talk about them.
All right, they don't want to talk.
They don't have a strong identity.
As far as I can tell.
As far as I can tell.
So the Terraria thing is I was actually playing that in a community-based setting, like you I guess you've done for your community nights.
Yeah.
And I had like Bizud on the line. I had a buddy, Kamikaze Frost. I had a musician buddy, Robin, in there. And who else was in there? But Ian, Mechanist Ian, he hangs out in Cranberry's chat too sometimes. And so my headphones, it's the exact same pair of headphones. I just went on eBay and I was like, I'm going back 2009, baby. I'm bringing it back. It was $46.70 something for an unopened pair. I originally bought them to do cannabis processing work and not hear the annoying people next to me.
Wait. Yeah, okay, no. I'll come back to that later.
Okay, don't worry. We'll bookmark that. Right. All right. This was many moons ago. Even it's something I do though. And so there's 3 or 4 people on the line, and then my headphones cut out on one side. So they still work. They're mono headphones now, I suppose.
Right.
But with 4 people talking, you cannot discern the voices as well when you're dealing with one channel. As a person who's like dependent on hearing and ear-based activities, it really helps to have both, to have some stereo going.
Got to have that stereo sound.
But I had the backup earbuds from doing labor. They're $20 pair of earbuds too, but they were giving me headaches. It's just the ears are a sacred thing for me. So physically and internally and mechanically and emotionally, and the ears are important.
The ears are super important, and I'm a little bit embarrassed to tell you this, but I exist off these poopy ones. And I feel like you're not gonna like this, on ear.
No, those are fine. These are Sony's as well. They're fine.
But on ear as opposed to over ear. What are your thoughts on ear?
The cans. It's the security blanket.
The small can. Yeah, I like the big can. I thought that the small can would be good, but these bad boys like hurt the fucking ear after an hour or so. They're a little small, and my ears are not that small, to be honest.
No, I actually do have small ears, so I like having the canopy over.
It's like an escape, right?
+1 armor.
Yeah,
for your ears.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely.
It's accessory.
I remember reading like it was like when I was, it was so long ago when I did my first, well, this is going to sound like I'm showing off academically, but then if I explain, it's actually kind of the opposite of a brag academically. When I first did a degree,
any aspects of academia.
When I first did a degree,
most likely,
which I subsequently dropped out of, I did. I was studying semiotics. That's the one
you chose to drop out of? Okay. Okay. No, you waited a little longer. Okay, I see.
There was this thing about they were talking about like the people disconnecting through like the advancements with technology, and the first thing was the Walkman. And they were talking about like how the Walkman was like the first, according to whatever it was I read, way that people separated themselves from their external world and just said like, you know what, like I'm out, I'm done. Like I'm out here. I've got roller skates on, but you guys, fuck you guys. I'm out of here.
This is the 80s. This is we're scooting. They don't have Heelys yet, but the roller skates are strong then.
Heelys?
You don't. My boy Porto doesn't know what Heelys are.
I don't know.
Very basic tennis shoes, but in the heel is a pop out wheel.
Oh yeah. I know the ones.
And you like do some weird like stance, and you like scoot forward at like a half a mile a second. So I threw up the thing on Twitch, the donation goal. Here's a good way to feel like you're failing in Twitch: is throw up donation goals that don't get.
Man, this is something I want to ask you about as well.
I want to talk about the goal bar a little bit.
I would love to talk about the goal bar with you. I would love to talk about the goal bar. I've had them.
I think I'm moving on from the goal bar. I think I'm done. I went through an arc with it.
It's a tricky one. I'm still in the middle of an arc, low key.
How so?
Well, in that, like, I've contemplated bringing one back. I've contemplated it.
I've had them before.
I had them for followers. Like when I was trying to get to affiliate, I had I actually started off with, I think it was 15. I was like, yeah, I'm going to get to 15 followers, you know, like,
yeah.
And then I was like, fuck yeah, 25 now, motherfucker. And then I got to 50.
Storming the gates.
Let's do it. And then I went to 100. And then I thought like, ooh, maybe I should do a sub goal. And then I kind of just like froze it for a while. I put it on ice for a little while. But I don't know. What are your thoughts? Tell me about your arc with it.
So it was pretty helpful, honestly, for a while. It was pretty helpful. I think it's more of I'm psyched out, try something different at the moment. Yeah. Mix it up. I might be in your position where I'm considering bringing it back. But I feel like the thing that I see on other streamers' channels that I like nowadays is just the number, the what you have / what
I've seen that one. Yeah.
No bar. That maybe, but it's like you already have the events list. It's like you can see the most, like, at least I use an events list, and so it's like you can see the most like recent sub anyway. So it's like good for them.
Like the stream label,
the 4 most recent.
Yeah. I like that.
Whether it was a raid or a follow sub. So it's like it feels redundant also to have the bars. To not have the goal met sucks, but that's okay because I'm gonna keep doing it anyways. I love this shit.
Fuck yeah.
I dipped in, and I will always dip into my own pockets for the stream if I have to, and so I got the exact same headphones. We're back at it. We're forgetting about the bars, but it was good at first. It helped me get my 5 affiliate emotes really fast.
Nice.
There's a lot of kind people out there that just wanted to help me out get there. So it's but it's like now we're in the middle of this September. And it's just it's just so like in your face. It feels like all the time, and so it's just like I don't want to be focused on that right now. I just want to focus on providing better entertainment for what I'm capable of bringing at the time.
What do you think is best to focus on? Just the entertainment, or like what's the best like for you as a streamer? Like what do you? Because I guess to give some context, like I do look at things that are measurable.
Mhm.
But I try to only personally look at basically the viewer count. Like I basically just look at that as like if people are watching,
Okay.
that's it, and then all the other stuff is just probably related indirectly or directly to that, and I just hold on to that basically.
Good.
How about you?
Just f- just for me, it's about reining myself in.
Mm,
If people are watching, that's gonna be nice. But we're still relatively small, so it's
oh,
like there's gonna be those
of course.
lulls. Especially for me, since I go late in the night, especially being on the west coast of the USA, it seems like everyone's asleep.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
or and it's just like there's this period in the middle of the night where I just kind of have resigned that it'll be a little quieter, and I like that because then it's
Yes.
time for me to like focus on myself and but for what's most important is me to make sure I'm staying genuine,
Yes.
um,
Yes. Yes.
make sure that I'm genuinely trying at the game.
Mm-hmm.
The gameplay is important for me. I know that you're branching out. You're not only doing gameplay now. Like earlier today was so much fun doing kind of the anthropology
Dude,
stuff.
that was
And
great. Man, I love this book I got. I fucking love this shit. It's super fun.
that's some good. We read 5 pages and it felt like we went on like this journey. So
We did traverse
that was
4 million years, I think. Something along those
there was a
lines.
lot covered. There's some ground covered there for sure. But and it's like, yeah, I want to eventually, you know, do more stuff than just gameplay, especially music. I want to do just full music composition streams. uh I don't have any excuses for not having those going, other than I just haven't figured out some weird technical hiccup I'm dealing with at the moment.
Okay, this is a good segue. I've been interested in learning about your sort of past with music, where you're at, because I know I've been on your
Okay.
YouTube. I was actually listening to some earlier, and
Nice. Yeah, I have a lot of the do-it-yourself albums thrown up there just for anyone who wants to stream them.
yeah,
Like
it's sick.
they're just there.
So like
Accessibility.
in the interest of being entirely honest, like it's in terms of BPMs, it's
Hmm.
faster than what I usually listen to. Like I'm like a
Hmm.
kind of like a jazz hip hop kind of guy, but I really
Yeah.
like it. Like it's atmospheric, it's emotive, it's evocative. Um, and I'm looking,
Thank
but
you.
again, in the interest of also continuing to be genuine, I've only listened to like
Uh-huh.
5 songs so far, so I got to listen
That's fair.
to more.
Take your time with it. It's some strange stuff at times. So
Fuck yeah,
I
but
appreciate
Strange
you.
is good.
I appreciate you putting any sharing any amount of ear time is what
Mm.
I've always tried to remind myself to say when people say, "Hey, I listen to your music." I'm like, "You took your time that you could have been putting something else in your ears,
Yeah,
but
that's
you
so
gave it to
important.
me."
Yeah,
And that'll always be the most important thing first and foremost,
yeah.
because I don't know how you're gonna react. So it's like the fact that you listen to 5 means you something must have been endearing about it at least.
Exactly.
So
Heard a first one, said, "Oh, let's listen to the second one." That's always a good
yeah,
sign. The second song gets played.
I guess to explain like my style, it's like it's an underground electronic type of style
Yep.
based on it's I do eccentric electronic styles
Mm.
inspired by mostly my workhorse synthesizer is the Zoxbox.
The Zoxbox, is that
And
like a?
it's a clone synthesizer of an old Roland synthesizer.
Okay,
Roland is
okay.
a famous synthesizer brand.
Mm-hmm.
So Roland, it's the TB303, which stands for transistor bass. This I gotta
Mm.
hit everyone with this lesson. This is important to me that more streamers and people just know about the history of acid house music. So the style is called acid or
Okay.
acid techno, acid house,
Mm.
acid electro. It doesn't have much to do with the drug, not until the 90s, really, honestly. But it's this so this weird synthesizer came out in the 80s, the TB303. The idea behind it was that if a guitarist doesn't have a drummer, they get a drum machine, right? There had been plenty of drum machines at that point. But the idea was if a guitarist doesn't have a bassist, they get the TB303, the transistor bass. But they sent it out without a manual, at least to the United States. They sent it out without a manual, or an untranslated manual if there was a manual.
Is it a German
So
company?
it's a Japanese company,
Okay, okay.
and so these guys got it in Chicago and like Detroit. They sent it to like the mid east of like the United States for some reason. Like it was like it's a limited run
Hmm.
thing. It was only like a couple tens of thousands of units were made.
Wow.
and these guys, so it's kind of a niche like genre and sound. So these guys got it, and they didn't know to use it as a bass machine. So and they had drum machines already, so they synced it up, and they just made it spit a pattern out, and they just twiddled the knobs live to shape the sound live.
Okay.
And that's the Zoxbox is modeled after that TB-303 synthesizer, and that's kind of the style I play in today. Is I run the patterns back, but tweak the knobs live to keep an ever evolving and morphing, sometimes acidic sounding, high resonance, lasery kind of sound. It can really hit great basses. Like it's an analog synthesizer, so it's really warm, and you can get it real like plucky. You can do it. You can make it a bass machine. There's documented instances in pop music where it's used as a bass machine, mostly in early like synthesizer based disco in the early 80s. But and some like classical musicians actually got a hold of it. There's a great image of a guy sitting there with like a grand piano with like the drum machine and the bass machine there.
Love it.
It's iconic.
It's crazy.
And so
sorry, continue.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, it's kind of wild how certain pieces of electronic music equipment, and I'm thinking like from a hip hop perspective, things like the MPC,
the sampler,
and like an SP404 and things like that, they become so iconic with. They just
need one of these.
Exactly that machine right there.
Mean one of these,
I do
Porto?
that exact one as well, the 1000. Although I kind of like I've played around with the 1000 before. I love the old 2000, that gray.
The XL.
It looks like you're controlling like a Starship Destroyer or something like that.
Battle stations. That's what I always loved about hardware gear. It's this. I have a room that is a sci-fi control deck.
Yeah.
It's what I wake up and get to see every day, and it's like I'm proud to be a bedroom musician, you know.
Hell yeah, that's dope.
And to keep these weird old styles kind of alive and be part of this later wave artist of it that's attempted to help it evolve in some instances. But
can I get a couple of maybe like some influences or like people who are doing it now as well, like, because I do feel pretty unfamiliar with the style.
Okay, I want to actually just recommend, because I don't only make acid music, I make kind of like electro-based, underground electro, based off of Detroit productions, and kind of Detroit techno spawned off of, influenced by weird German synthesizer music like synth rock, Kraftwerk.
Yeah,
do you know Kraftwerk?
I do.
So the whole genre of what we call real and true electro, or Detroit-based electro, or the underground European electro. That's all like heavily influenced by Kraftwerk, and then electro hip hop as well. You're thinking Africa Bambaataa hit it, and even like old KRS-One is really electro hip hop based. So it's I'm heavily influenced by those styles as well, and I've tried really hard to fuse like the acid styles and those underground electro styles. But as far as artists doing it today, I would recommend on the acid side of things CEEPHAX. CEEPHAX.
CEEPHAX. Done.
EX.
Yeah, oh shit, EX.
And he's a great guy over in the UK, and he throws down on hardware gear and synthesizers, and so he's doing it today. Who else? Chris Moss Acid is another UK based artist from Bournemouth. I've been listening to him for close to 15 years now. He's been a huge inspiration on me. As far as more mainstream artists, Aphex Twin actually did some acid style tracks. Back in his earlier 90s works, were a lot of like heavy acid techno or like chill kind of weird acid beats. The Select Ambient Works volume 85 to 92, I think, is the first one. Porto, you fucked up. You got me talking about music.
No, this is great. This is great, dude. Let's go.
But and then I just kind of want to shout out every artist who has given me permission to use their tracks on my channel that I reached out to. I've been lucky enough to actually be involved in these communities and networks, and I can just reach out to these people and be. I mean, they're all chill dudes. They're all just like me. We're all just a bunch of bedroom musicians. There's some are more prevalent and able to spread their craft a little, more tactfully and than others. So, but there's Cygnus, Sygnus. That's an artist out of Texas. And all these artists, check them out on Bandcamp. Just type these names in.
Dude, I get a lot of my music from Bandcamp.
You should be. Thank you for supporting musicians.
Goes direct to the musicians. Yeah, Bandcamp's great.
It's the only spot online that is at least well known and more trafficked than like. I just want to make so Spotify is trash. I just want to make this comment real fast.
Roasted Spotify.
Fuck them up. Fuck you, Spotify. And they have the potential to dictate what musicians are paid digitally, and they don't do it. They refuse to do it.
Yeah.
And fuck Pandora too. They'll steal your free music and run ads over it.
Oh.
So it's like Pandora's dirty as well. I'm sorry to break it to everyone.
Heard it first. It's filthy.
It's breaking news that's been available since.
Dude, I've never actually listened. I've never actually. I feel like did it ever go big? Like no one ever speaks about it over here.
Here in Northern California, for some reason, a lot of cats got onto Pandora.
Okay.
It was just the most annoying shit ever.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Bandcamp is the realest shit. Thank you for doing that, Porto.
Bandcamp's dope.
As a person on Bandcamp who's been able to buy food because they put music on Bandcamp, thank you, Porto.
Yeah, and the artist dictates the price of what they do as well. I mean, sometimes they say name your price, but they can kind of like in what I think is a pure like art and capitalism move. They can dictate the price. It all goes to them as far as I can tell.
The power should be in the artist's hands.
Yeah, the power's in their hands. And
the thing that's what I was mentioning with Spotify is that it isn't anymore. For the most part.
Yeah.
It's this weird game.
I also like the idea that I like platforms that you can be big and you can be a nobody, but everyone can be there. Mm-hmm. Like I have, you can see like how many whatever downloads they have, which is maybe a little dirty, but like that's kind of like that likes syndrome. But like,
I like the transparency for the most part.
The transparency is there.
Whose collections it's in, and
yeah, you can get recommendations and this and that. But like, I find that if half the stuff I look at that I've bought has like 30 people have bought it, and then the other half are kind of the big stuff that has like 1,000 or 10,000. So it feels like popularity. Financial popularity has less of a bearing on my choice. I don't know if the platform does that, but that's just kind of how it works for me when I use Bandcamp.
I've just something about the interface where there's an incentive to just listen to the track.
Yep.
A lot of online cloud-based streaming platforms, there's just like, to me on SoundCloud, there's no more incentive to like sit there and listen to tracks. I've been using SoundCloud since 2010 or 11, and now it just feels like a necessity, honestly. Like it's something I built up and it's there, so why wouldn't I use it?
Yeah.
But
so why? Sorry to interrupt. Why do you feel that lack of motivation or incentive, rather? Sorry. Because
the networking is the weird, dirty word about it, but the ability to just reach out to people. And just the interface just doesn't promote this. They actually actively like destroyed groups and stuff. Like there used to be the equivalent of like groups on there, which were like really important. I met a lot of artists through those types of groups. But it's just that it's the same type of system. It's like you can leave a comment on their track at a certain part in the waveform, but it's the way it shows you tracks is just totally muddled. It's the same stream feed corruption and saturation that you get on all the social media platforms these days, unfortunately. But it didn't used to be like that.
Yeah. I've used SoundCloud a bit for some other projects that I've worked on, and oh yes, and some of my friends have been on it for like close to a decade, I'd say. And
yeah,
I like the comment you can do the comment at the point, like, oh, this bit slaps or something like that. It does feel a little bit. Doesn't feel that user friendly. I don't know. No. Like it does. even though I think you can pull up an album or an EP, it feels more like a type of thing that someone might put like a B-side or like a remix or something on. Like it kind of has that like go and listen to this one song that I did on SoundCloud kind of vibe.
Yeah, putting up some people put up like exclusives over there. Like I might just start putting up old tracks there again if I ever feel a like a sudden urge and need to blow it up again. But it's I'm at my limit anyways. I'm tired of getting their premium service to have more space. So
that's fair.
Because I used it before they was pay to have storage over there, and so I'm jaded from that regard. And I made some really deep connections in those early days that I still really am grateful for and hold dear to. And it's just like, it's just we just don't need. I feel like a lot of the people I grew up with on that platform, it's just we all spread away, kind of.
Yeah, it happens over time.
But
let me completely derail this conversation for a moment.
Hell yeah.
And you know, I have no idea when or how you got started on Twitch. Speaking of platforms that may not stand the test of time, who knows?
Oh, so I got started back in 2016, actually.
Oh shit! I'm trying to remember what year it is. That's a while back.
But not regularly.
Yeah.
I hopped on there. It's in like April, I think, 2016. A spry 26-year-old, the stars in my eyes. And I played on real hardware. It's this thing that you got to make a big deal of if you're playing on real hardware. Everybody, I'm playing on real hardware.
It's real.
You know there's a shitty beige box because it sat in the sun in front of me right now. It's like, no, good for you. No, it's I'm just over physical collections personally.
Yeah. Why is that?
But I went through an evacuation.
Oh, gee, of course, you've been in the fires and shit, man. We got so much to cover.
Northern California. Yeah. But to stay on the topic, so I played on my Super Nintendo. I threw up Secret of Evermore was the first thing I ever streamed. And I love that one. It's this weird North American made
Squaresoft
using the Secret of Mana engine. Yes, old school Squaresoft, one of the later Super Nintendo games. I don't think it's been re-released unless they did a Wii U thing that I missed out on because I always forget that thing exists. But it's this weird quirky thing that like it's a boy and his dog type of story. And he gets thrown into the past, and like it's just this kid who's like obsessed with like shitty like 50s sci-fi, and he's just hanging out with his dog, and he's getting out of the movie theater, and he's walking home, and there's this spooky haunted looking house this dog runs off into, so we gotta chase after the dog. This is the setup. I won't go too deep into the game, but this is just, and I was watching so much shitty sci-fi myself around that time back in 2016. And so like it was like this is the perfect game to just stream through, because Secret of Mana is one of my all-time favorite games.
Great game. But I
haven't put as much time into Secret of Evermore, so I was like, this would be a good way to force myself to play through this game again. I had no glitz in my eyes. I just wanted to see if I could fucking do it.
Well, Secret of Evermore it's a little bit maligned, right? Like I remember as a kid being like very enchanted by it because it had that cover. At least in PAL territories, it had that cover where there's that big fucking red bug, like, and there's like the kid with the bone or whatever, and it just looked, it titillated a 10-year-old me. But from what I've, having not played through it, but from what I've read, it was kind of like a bit of a, I don't know if flop is the right word, but like that Western studio didn't do that well for whatever reason. They're like the satellite Squaresoft studio. Yeah,
they closed that down, and not like directly after that, I don't think, but or they reabsorbed them or something.
Yeah,
but it was definitely, because it was just later towards the end of the cycle. There was more vibrant graphically games coming out because it was using the Secret of Mana engine, and honestly they use a lot more desaturated colors in it. It's not the bright colorful fantasy of like the I always say Secret of Mana is the closest to like a Studio Ghibli film in a game that I've ever played.
Yep, those colors.
It's so fantastical, the music, the story, and all that. But Secret of Evermore is definitely the grittier, make it gray, make it for American audiences, make it more, or North American audiences, or just it was a KA game, but I feel like they were targeting like an edgier crowd, that 90s edge.
The edgy 90s, of course. Where like in hindsight, I think people in the 90s in gaming, I don't think people necessarily wanted edgy stuff. I mean, I'm sure some people did, but like,
no, they wanted stuff like Mario 64. They were chomping at the bit waiting for that. They liked Round. Donkey Kong Country was out at this time. 2 might have been out at this time. So it's that's what people were used to. It's like, I don't want to see this old 1993 graphical style again. And the music, the music is hit or miss on Evermore. It's definitely not a perfect game, but for me, it was at the time. Like I said, I was watching a lot of shitty sci-fi. It made sense for me to play.
Yeah.
So I hopped on there, and my dad sat out in the living room on his tablet and watched the whole time.
Oh yes, Dad.
So he hung out, and then all of a sudden, someone actually came in and started getting hype about it. And that was if you're familiar with my channel, you might know of someone named Kamikaze Frost.
Oh dude, that's Kamikaze Frost. I've seen Kamikaze Frost in your chat.
I've known him since 2016.
Wow.
He came into that first set of Evermore streams. I don't know if it was the first. I think it was the second one he came in. It took me like 4 or 5 days to beat it.
Shout outs to you, Kamikaze Frost. That's dope.
He's the OG Twitch homie.
Hell yeah.
He's like, yo, I'm over in Albany. I'm like, yo, I used to date someone over in Albany. I was like, I've gotten stoned over at the Egg. Just this big dumb statue. He's like, yo.
Damn.
And he hung out for the whole playthrough, and then I threw on Star Fox, and he hung out for that and got hyped for that. And then I think I just played a couple Atari games, and then I dipped out. This was all 2016. And then in 2017, I came back. I did like a random Mario Land stream.
You mean the Game Boy game?
Yeah.
Dude.
No, I love Game Boy games. I've been trying to stream more Game Boy games. I'm trying to show them some love. I know that you started with Dragon Warrior or Dragon Quest 1. I
certainly did.
Because that was the first thing you said. You're like, Dragon Warrior was the first one I streamed. I was like, which version did you play?
I was like, the Game Boy Color. Game Boy Color version. Best version, I think. Like, I think they like
absolutely
cut out a lot of the unnecessary grindiness. Like, they made it a little more, a little cleaner in a way.
The pacing is a lot better.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
So that I was like, I like this guy Porto.
I love handhelds. Like for years, all I had were handhelds. Like my first console was, I remember I was 10 years old, and for Christmas I got the Play It Loud Game Boy Color, the black one. Oh, not just Game Boy, the Play It Loud Game Boy, the black one. And I had what was it? Super Mario Land and Mega Man Wily's Revenge.
Oh shit. I've never played the Mega Man Game Boy games.
Dude, they're good.
They're totally different.
They're good. They're good. They're really good. I don't know why they don't get a little more love. Like the physics are good.
Because like they're adapted for Game Boy, like a little better than some other games, right?
Absolutely, and they're pretty. Like they look. I remember playing it, thinking like, this is fucking gorgeous. Pretty hard for a young 10-year-old me though to beat a Mega Man game. Okay. A little tricky.
It's hard as 30-something-year-olds too as well.
Yes.
I have an image in my BRB slideshow of me as a 10-year-old at my grandma's table, wearing like all beige for some reason. I'm wearing like a beige cap and like a beige shirt, and someone caught me like mid Game Boy. I think it was, and I'm right there on the table. The box there is Dragon Warrior 1+2.
Yes.
I don't know if that's the first day I got it, but I remember. I mean, a lot of the first games I got was going over to Grandma's trailer in Santa Rosa. But I have some good memories of that. Oh my god. So that one's real dear to my heart.
Yeah.
And how we get on topic of Game Boy again? Oh yeah, so I was playing Super Mario Land in like 2017. I got the bookmarks sometimes. So it's not don't want to hype that up too much. And then I did like some Mario Paint streams in like 2018.
Mario Paint streams?
I have a couple clips of some jams I made.
What is
back
this
then.
sorcery? That's dope.
It's you got jam out. It's the final digital audio workstation is Mario Paint. Everybody, they even made the
evolution.
program. There's a program out there where you can just do Mario Paint composition writing.
Yeah. Love it.
Look it up. It's pretty. If you ever played with the music creator in Mario Paint.
Oh, I know the
it's
one
quite
you're speaking of. I know the one you're speaking of. I never owned it though, because didn't you need like the mouse for Mario Paint?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
we
have
had
the
no
mouse. I have. That might be one of the few Super Nintendo games I still have. I can't remember if I flipped that or not. But yeah, I ditched the whole. Anyway, so that was 2018, and then 2019 in November, I decided I was like, I want to try streaming again. I kept going through these start and stop,
Yeah.
like doing just a couple weeks at a time at the most. And then in November, I fired up Dark Souls 3, which is interesting because I'm playing Dark Souls 3 right now.
Yes, you are. I fucking love watching you play that game.
The AudaxSmoke go wink, wink.
AudaxSmoke, as in ODD, or is it odd or old?
Odd.
AudaxSmoke.
ODD.
Love it.
I'm very odd. So I fired that up. I convinced my buddy Zozweija, who's also a regular in the chat these days, to come hang out while I played that. And he's the stream wouldn't be the same without Zozweija. That's for damn sure. He's one of my mods. He holds it down when he can.
Shout out to Zozweija.
Working hard. Zozweija, you the one.
You're the one.
I've known him. I've known him since I was 15. So there's another weird 15 years seems to be this weird marker I keep bringing up. Oh, shit happened 15 years ago, Porto. What are you doing here?
We'll delve into that later.
Oh God, no. Oh God, this is some Freudian slip shit. And so I did half of Dark Souls, but my bit rate was just too trash. My internet, I was rocking dial up from like high speed dial up speeds.
Good grief.
AKA not very good.
Yeah, not great.
Like high speeds for the 2000s is what I was basically.
Oh, so running. Standard Australian speeds in 2020 is what you mean to say.
I hear y'all got it pretty bad over there.
It's no good. Let me say that much.
So I realized my internet was just trash in 2019. And then, so I took the break and I got everything set up in January this year. And then I've just been going hard since January.
So what prompted you to go hard? Like, was it, I mean, I could chance a guess. It might have been something that prompted a lot of people to go hard, but what was it personally for you?
Well, if you're referring to the quarantine, no, I got in. Those were not my reasons.
Okay.
Those
Okay.
were,
Cool.
I have actually like very personal reasons for why I wanted to really pursue, because I had fun in November. Dark Souls, playing one of my favorite games, or one of my favorite series. I like other games in that series maybe a little more.
Ooh. Okay. I will ask later.
Okay. But my father actually passed away in August of 2019.
Oh, dude.
And I had been very, very lost up till November. Like, just because I live with the family. I helped pay in on the mortgage here. We got the mortgage paid off. So I'm a homeowner. It's a very stressful time all the time. Shit's falling apart. Help. Please send help.
Send help.
No, I got covered. Don't worry, everybody. And so I just didn't know what the fuck to do with myself. I fell off of some of the labor I was doing just because I was too distraught, I guess would be the best word.
Yeah.
I deal with this might be the best time to bring it up because I'm sure it's gonna come eventually. I deal with bipolar type 2 mood swings, similar to cranberry pudding.
Cranberry told me, yeah, he told me
and
about that.
that's why he is one of the reasons why he's such a dear friend. We can really talk about some shit. We have some good empathy for one another. Shouts to Cranberry Pudding.
Fuck yeah, Cranberry.
He was that last episode you did with him. That was not gonna lie. There's one moment where he was saying some shit about me that like I was like, I don't fucking deserve this. Like I was like,
oh, what do you mean? What are you talking about?
A tear jerker.
Yeah.
I was just like, this. I don't know how to handle like a bunch of compliments and shit all the time. Or
he loves you, dude. He's the one that got me onto you as well. Like he was like, this is my guy, you know.
No, so he's a serious he's a spirit sibling of sorts out there. And what was I talking about before this? Oh, but yes, bipolar 2, it sucks. So dealing with mood swings on top of grieving is very tough.
Jesus,
This
I can
is
only
this
imagine.
is throwing gasoline at the fire, the already going fire. So I'm a big believer in taking a moment to first do some breathing exercises,
Yeah.
um, and then second, do something that makes you feel like yourself. Because another thing I deal with is depersonalization a lot, or I didn't feel like myself after because my family's very small. So when
Mm,
a parent like went that was as what I saw and hung out with every day, I smoked doobies with and watched TV every day.
yeah.
That was a big change.
Jesus, yeah, that's a
Because
huge change.
it was a sudden loss. He went like really fast in like 18 hours. Suddenly came home from work one day. Just it was a abdominal aortic aneurysm.
Wow.
He basically just popped, and it was 11 inches long. They couldn't. We tried to get him. Not to get hella deep, but it's just like
No, go wherever you want, dude.
it was sudden. It's just the point I'm trying to get across.
Yeah.
So but we were all right at the time. It was scary for a while because all the hospital shit. It's not easy over here to die. It's really scary when a family member passes, A, because emotions
Yeah.
and attachment, but B, it's a scary time where I'm at in North America.
Mm,
In many ways. But so by November, we had finally kind of figured things out and got the mortgage paid off, like I said, and that brought the cost of living down way. Compressed our cost of living, me and my mother, to the absolute nth degree, and we're getting by. We're gonna be all right for a year or so, or a year or
okay.
two. I have a cushion. I have a time limit where I'm trying this, and then eventually I might have to lift heavy things again. That's okay.
I can relate. I can
It's
relate.
okay. I'm happy to do get back to labor eventually.
Mm.
While I'm before I'm 35 at least, because then that's when I hear it really starts hurting.
Yeah, the back. That's what I'm told.
Yes, I got the shoulders and the basically the whole right side of my body is just. Don't step in a ditch walking backwards carrying a water heater, especially when it's a ditch that you dug yourself.
Especially when you dug it yourself. Wise words.
These are life lessons. Also, I guess the more practical life lesson is trust the person you're carrying something with. Make sure that they're watching your feet for you. That's just
Mm,
this is something that wrecked me back in like 2013.
Damn.
And I still can't walk right. Yeah. No, I'm not. No, I can walk all right.
Crazy. We
But
all
so
break down. Like I mean, most people I
learning to
speak to.
age,
Well, I
learning
mean,
to age.
yeah, yeah. Learning to
No, go
age
ahead.
is
I'm
fucked
sorry.
up. No, you're right, dude. Like I've fucking destroyed my knee in my 20s. My very good friend over here did the same thing to himself, destroyed his knee. Like basically everyone I speak to over the age of 30, whether or not they lived an active lifestyle, often the active lifestyle was the cause of destroying their body, or if they lived the opposite, like a sedentary lifestyle, that was the cause of
Yes.
destroying their body. It just seems like it all roads lead to Rome, and Rome is like a fucked body.
Yeah. All eroding leads to Rome.
Hey,
Hey,
Zap.
Bazinga. Bring that one back.
Where the fuck were sorry, I feel like I just sidetracked us. Where were we?
Streaming is a emotional reason for starting
Yes,
streaming.
yes.
Because, like I said, in 2016, the very first time I streamed, Dad was sitting on the couch watching me the whole time. He had always been heavily supportive toward my gaming hobby.
That's awesome. I don't think many parents would be that way. That's cool.
No, he was a real progressive guy, hippie from Colorado, came out to California, found his dream home, had a not a nuclear family, but he had, a wife, a daughter, a son, his house to build and work on. And so I'm really grateful for the property and this legacy of his that I get to, upkeep and maintain now. And but I was still having a hard time getting out of the house to go do the labor. So I was like, what can I do from home? I can go hard on the streaming.
Yeah.
Because I'd done it before. I had always wanted to do it. I mentioned to you in like our first little back and forth there on Discord is that like, yeah, first off, you're doing great on YouTube, and hi YouTube, but you in particular, you're tapping into something, and I just get this particular novelty where I'm like, I'm feeling inspired. You and another streamer I know, Guysicle. He's a great guy from the UK.
All right, I'm gonna write this down. See, this is all just a research.
Purely Super Mario Maker 2. Well, he'll play some other stuff too, but he's even family friendly. He doesn't curse, which takes like the utmost like. I'd have no idea how he does.
That's hard to do. That's hard to do.
I will never be that streamer.
How do I spell his name, by the way?
Salt mouth. Guy, Guy, and then Icicle. Guysicle. No, guys. Yes.
Guysicle.
Guysicle.
Excellent. Thank you, sir.
Not Guy Ice.
Not Guy Icicle.
Guy Icicle.
Guysicle.
Tricycle. That's a Pink Floyd song. No, Bicycle. That's a Pink Floyd joint.
It certainly is. Shout out to Pink Floyd.
So yeah, no. In a way, it's to honor Dad because I knew he had fun watching me do it. It was a shot in the dark though. I was like, let's see if maybe we can make something with this. So I've been going hard since January. I developed this schedule in February. At first, it was just throw streams at the wall, see how often I can just even humanly withstand doing it.
Yeah.
And then I just let a natural kind of rhythm fall into place, and I've been doing that since. And streaming's been good. It's been a good thing for me to recover from that loss and also share something that genuinely like pulls charisma out of me. Like charisma is not the easiest thing in the world for me to be like generate. Like I'll get stoned and shoot shit with Porto because I'm comfortable shooting the shit with Porto. But like if I'm in a group's like setting, like I'll probably be the quieter one. I'll be like it's like I can be extroverted in like a one-on-one, but like in a group I have a hard time being extroverted.
That's
so having the Twitch thing, I can kind of feel like I'm in a group, but still being extroverted.
Yeah, no, I actually in many ways can relate to that. When I was younger, like teenage kind of younger, I kind of enjoyed the group dynamic. I think it was an opportunity to just kind of perform. And to just sort of be this character and be seen, and it was kind of this egotistical, like this narcissistic kind of youth thing, like, do something funny, like say something controversial.
Like class clowny kind of.
I like to think of myself as like operating on a higher level, but it probably was just class clown. It was probably just class clown. And
elevated class clown.
Well, yeah, class jester. But like when I think it was probably in my early to mid 20s, probably my mid 20s, if I'm honest, that like I started seeing groups of like 5 or more approximately as kind of a burden. Like it was just like you just see everyone bring like their caricature self and just kind of like
absorbing what.
Yeah, like what's getting made? Like what's actually getting made in this interaction other than just this reaffirmation of like who you are or who you want to be projected as. And it just never like that sort of the foundation of that built in my mind, and then it became increasingly distasteful for me to be in those situations to the point where I would start to dread them. Not because like I couldn't do it, but it's because I didn't want to do it. It's like your
energy was on the line.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And so going back to what you were saying, like what do you think it is about Twitch streaming that draws out your charismatic side, or like the side that you maybe feel best being? What is it about that dynamic, do you think?
Definitely the games for me, having the activity. I just realized that my brain works better. Honestly, I had this weird moment that's coming to mind of me. I was playing like Hearthstone.
Ah, nice.
Back in like
TCGs,
2013
baby.
or 14. Nah, it's some broke ass Magic the Gathering shit.
That's fucking right. I wasn't gonna say it, but that's fucking right. I'm a big MTG nerd over here. Big time MTG nerd.
That's what's up. Yo, I remember the Adventures in Chandelar.
Oh, the fucking old PC game?
Yes, my brother.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. Hell yeah.
I see you, Porto. I see you. but I remember just playing it, and I was talking to one of my family members about some deep topic. I think it was about health insurance, and I was just very focused and very calm and collected during the whole conversation. And they were just like, and they were just like, I was saying like all the right things at the moment for some reason while I was playing Hearthstone. Fucking Hearthstone of all things. And I just realized like I could multitask like really well, and even came up in the conversation because they were staring at me like absorb. They're hearing me say the stuff, but I was like, no, I'm paying attention. And like then they were relaying their information to me, but my focus was at the screen. Like, and if they were kind of questioning if my focus was on the conversation, and they even were like, well, what did I just say? And I vomited everything they said to the T.
Nice.
And I was just like, my brain for some reason is just working perfectly fine while I'm playing this game. Like, if I was able to hold the Game Boy in school, maybe I would have done better. Who knows? but they took that shit away from you.
Bastards.
So yeah, it's that just helps my. I don't know if I have the brain type for that. I don't know.
No, that makes sense.
Kind of approach it differently, I would imagine.
It weirdly makes sense. Like I had
the multitasking of interacting with chat is like seamless.
Yeah.
And I was shocked at it for myself. I was just like, and I was also shocked that I enjoyed it.
Yeah, hell yeah. Like, so I'm reminded of this story. Like, there's this I used to live with this guy, Kipper. It's not his real name, but we all called him Kipper because long story. Kipper. But he had this uncanny knack for beating difficult platformer stages, but only if you asked him to recount an anecdotal story, like while he was doing it. So like,
yeah,
I remember us being stuck. We were all hungover one day, like we're in our early 20s. We're stuck on this fucking bramble level on Donkey Kong Country 2. Like one of those, the bramble barrel shooty levels, like
most
towards
beautiful music and most torturous level.
Oh yeah, I mean they chose wisely because you're like happy to be dying a time and again on it. And I remember he came in, and we'd been on this level for like at least half an hour, tossing the controller to each other to have a go. And he was in the midst of telling us about something that had happened the previous night. I can't remember the details, but sort of so-and-so did this, so-and-so did that. And we sort of just give him the controller. At first, I think it was maybe to shut him up. Like it was like I think maybe that was the idea, but he didn't stop talking. He kept going through it and just like first pop casually fucking destroyed this level. And it sort of became a thing of local lore, in our share house or whatever, and we'd always test it and it usually worked. But like I feel like there is something behind that. The dual focus where like you can, maybe if you are focusing on something where you're figuring out a problem or you're solving something, that can kind of run analogous to like figuring out logically how to reply to things. Like I can imagine that would like maybe remove some of the social bullshit. I don't know.
Yeah, kind of take down that barrier. It's just it's because you could always default on, I can just talk about that game. If no one's feeding me anything in chat or no one wants to discuss anything in chat, it's like I can just comment on the game.
Yeah.
And like I've always kind of thought out loud. Like I just react. Like I'll say "ow" out loud. I'm one of those assholes. Yeah. I won't even like bonk something hard. I'll just be like "ow."
Yeah.
I'll be like, why did I do that? What? Like my body just wants to naturally have the vocal cord reaction.
Yeah, dude, I'm a fucking lunatic. Like my stream starts 2 hours before it starts. Like I'm talking to myself all morning. Like it's just, I don't know. I just do it. Like I guess I'm keeping myself company. I don't know.
You got to enjoy your own company, and that's been a big thing. Is I've always been working on like how to enjoy your own company.
Yeah,
it's been a hard thing because the mental illness thing that I've dealt with has always led me to like go at myself and be hard on myself and be pessimistic about things. So it's always been a thing in my mind to just be like, you have that awareness of myself and try to be okay with myself and like. And try to be okay with myself for the different emotions I go through, the mood swings and stuff like that. And I've had mood swings on stream, and I will like proudly have mood swings on stream. I don't give a shit.
Yep.
If I'm feeling like garbage and I want to stream, I'm still gonna stream. I'm not always 100% smiles. I'm pretty chill. Everyone's like, you're chill. You got the vibes. I'm like, are vibes real? It's my whole thing.
Controversial. Are vibes real?
Oh, Cranberry loves that one.
Damn. I think that's I think that's good, man. Like that's something that I've struggled with personally, like, or not struggled, but I've thought about a lot, you know, like at what point do you balance being an authentic human being, which I think people want ultimately, but people also, you know, like if I go to the shop, call me dumb or call me soft or call me whatever. I do generally prefer it if the interaction is pleasant, you know, and so there's that weird thing where like, I guess because it's an extended interaction. It's so odd that
you had to like preface that, like, don't call me soft or dumb if I like a polite interaction. How dare you, Porto?
Yeah.
No, that's. I mean.
But then, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's at the same time, I've seen streamers, and of course I'm not going to name names, but I've seen streamers who do seem to always be operating at 10 out of 10 mood. Just time and again, I'm like, wow, either you're on some great meds or that's a great performance. But like, there's been lots of times for me where even just for 10 minutes, half an hour, maybe I'm a little hungry, maybe something happened yesterday, this or that, and I'm still trying personally to figure out how to, like, where I fall on that spectrum of authenticity and just telling people to fuck off. You know?
So I'm never really combative with anyone I'm only combative with myself.
Yeah.
Is my thing.
Yeah.
But do you feel like that you have to like have a flood control on what you allow on stream? Because I've tried to just keep my hand away from that valve and just be like, it's the flow is going to be different day to day, kind of roll with the punches kind of thing.
Do you mean personally from what I allow from myself?
Yeah. Or do you feel like you are fedding, like you're catching yourself being like, no, I gotta do this for the sake of the entertainment or whatever?
I've grown into myself to the point where, for the most part, I think I've been able to like find the way to be most of myself. Like find like a way that is like, if I am a little grumpy, then I think I've found a way to like maneuver that into like a way to express it that isn't fucking tyrannical or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, I think that the thing is how to express it for me on stream.
Yeah. I want people to feel like themselves as well when they're in my chat. Like, and that's why I'm not afraid to talk about like mental illness or anything. I think we should normalize talking about mental illness.
Fucking A, I agree.
Help us all out a lot.
Yeah.
And so I just try to, that's just like, it's like, I don't let it define me. I try really hard not to let it define me. Some days it does define me. I don't always win all the battles. That's okay. Because I'm always going to be here fighting. But it's something I live with, and it's something other people live with, other conditions or disorders, and it's weird because it's like we function. Bipolar type 2 is one where you can function higher. Like it's not as such obvious because the difference between bipolar 1 and bipolar type 2 is like bipolar 1 experiences more full blown mania. Like they hit those highs where if you see that streamer going high, it's like that might actually be a temporary for someone, and then they hit the extreme low. But the bipolar type 2 person hits a hypomania where it's not quite as high as a high. In fact, for me, it looks like I'm just functioning. But inside, I'm buzzing and I'm spinning, and I'm like, that's my high, and it's very like draining. So it's like I work through that. Our health as streamers is like super important. I feel like we need to
absolutely, dude. Yes,
I appreciate the hydration checks in chat. I appreciate posture checks and shit like that.
All right, I'm checking myself over here with this posture.
I just want to be stoned and slump. and like eating, and
Mm.
I try really hard to take breaks every 2 hours. That's a thing I try to
That's something I
always
should
make.
do. I get caught up in the thing I'm doing, and sometimes I go like I take piss breaks, but sometimes I'm like, Jesus Christ, I've been going for 9 hours and I haven't eaten or anything. That's not
Yeah,
healthy.
so we got to help each other out. Remember to eat. Remember, because it's so easy to just binge on it. Streaming is something you can binge on.
Oh yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like once you get your legs underneath you, and you have people that want to come watch you. It's easy to just throw one up.
Yep.
Like I've done the 60-hour, 80-hour stream weeks. Like I went hard like in like April and like
Excuse me,
May and
60-hour to 80-hour stream week? That's fucking
Yeah.
gigantic. I've done like high 20.
Maybe
I generally
80's
do
pushing
20s,
it.
but that's crazy, man. Damn.
I was trying to do the 8-hour streams minimum. But a lot of those turn into 10 hours.
Yeah.
And then doing extra streams. I try to do 5 days a week. But I like to throw up random streams if I'm feeling it.
That's some
if
endurance right there.
This month though, I'm consciously like I've cut it back. Like I'm trying to do 6-hour streams. I'm trying to do my 5 days, but do 6-hour streams. I've been streaming more on Discord, which kind of fills that void when I'm like, I want to be streaming. I want to be streaming because you can binge on it. You can just keep going.
It's weird. It's kind of addictive, isn't it? It's kind of I don't know what it is. It's like the game plus the socializing together is it's quite the cocktail.
And it's just become like such a necessity coming back to like quarantine. Like you were saying, that was the catalyst for a lot of people starting streaming.
Yeah.
It was coincidence that all that started. Like I said, I was going regularly since January. COVID stuff didn't really start till like March, right? Or April.
Yeah, depending on where you were. Yeah, pretty much. I think it popped off around March over here.
Yeah. So it's it's been handled awful over here, but
I don't know. I think it's going to be one that the edition 12 of that history book will be the one to determine who handled it best, because I don't know if anyone knows what the fuck's going on right now. Yeah, I definitely don't.
It's floundering. But streaming has been a good way to make sure people are chilling, being entertained, feeling connected.
Yeah.
So that was just kind of coincidental for me, is when that all that started going.
Yeah, and I think that's why I assumed, and sorry for making that assumption, but I think for a lot of people that I have spoken with, it was that kind of, it was like, it was often something else. Like I know Cranberry, that wasn't when he started, but that kind of was the conditions for him to kind of come back into it. For me, I'd like contemplated it, but that were the conditions for me to actually get my ass into gear and do it. And I think a lot of the people that I've met through this at a varying levels of a similar point, where they kind of, it's been like their first year basically, and COVID's often, or having more time on one's hands is kind of thing for that.
Right. Yeah. So I'm kind of going on. The family is like supportive. My small family that I still have, they're like, yeah, awesome. Give it a shot for a year.
That's awesome.
So that's what I'm doing. I'm giving it a shot and having fun with it.
I think it's
meeting great people like you. So man, it's been worth it as far as I'm concerned.
Fuck yeah. Like it's
given me a reason to play my old music. Has been something that's been super refreshing.
That's dope. Like, I love that you have the Winamp up there as well. That Winamp gives me a little nostalgia tingle right there.
Winamp is special to a lot of people.
Oh, fuck,
and it always touches me when someone comes to the chat and goes, "Is that Winamp?"
Yeah,
that's how I always read it in my head, like an excited, like.
No, that's how they're saying it. I think is that. Hang on now. So I'm a fair bit of a stoner, like naturally in my natural state. But I noticed that like in COVID, it's just. So the situation. I don't want to whinge too much about the situation in Melbourne, because there's it's I have a roof over my head, I'm eating, so like there's worse places to be. But like we've been in one of the harsher lockdowns in the world. It's been going on forever. It was an 8 o'clock curfew. We can't go 5 kilometers beyond where we are. It's very strictly enforced. I've like barely seen anyone at all IRL, like at all.
Okay. In
like 4 or 5 months. And so I noticed that like my general stoner habits, like I used to work in a school where I'd interact with lots of people. I would be Mr. Fake Professional Man, and like just put on the costume and do that. And I would get home and be like, now I can just get fucking shredded and kick back and do whatever it is I'm doing.
Cheers to that.
Indeed. And it would be like a nice way to unwind, and it would relax me and do a lot of the things that people sort of who are fans of smoking weed would say. But I found that like in this context, in like the being enclosed all the time, just whatever the changes, the not so much socializing, the having a lot of time to internalize things, scenario that I've been in, like as I was getting to the end of this bag I started realizing that it was like causing me more stress than good. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna step back from this for a little while, and I'll come back once normality resumes.
That sounds like a good plan.
Mm-hmm.
There's a time and a place for sure.
Dude, but I've been having crazy dreams though.
So what is like the availability where you're at exactly? Is it even legal there? Is it?
It's like a slap on the wrist. Like if you're going to get in trouble if you're cultivating and selling.
Right.
You're going to get fucked up. But like it's fairly available. Like you're not going to shops like in the US to pick up,
right.
in California or Oregon or something like that. But everyone knows a guy who knows a guy who can get you an ounce, and you sometimes have to wait a week or so. And
place an order.
You got to place orders, man. We're living in we're Philistines over here.
Right. No, I'm very, very spoiled where I am locationally in regards to cannabis. I basically have only smoked medicine that I've earned for the past 5 years or so. Whether it's doing trimming and processing or helping out in other ways. So I actually don't go to shops much. I just have been working on the earned stash.
So I've heard tales of these trimming jobs.
Friends sometimes. I'm sorry, what was that?
Sorry to interrupt. I've heard tales of these trimming jobs, dude. Like, please tell me more.
Okay, so going back to the headphones story, I guess. Working up on a hill in a very obscure part of the county, and having some friends who had a crop. I think it was Master Kush at the time. I remember it was like some of the best pain relief like ever. Like you could do a whole day of labor and then take one puff of that, and it's just all your joints. Like the inflammation was like so instantaneous. It was insane. Highly recommend that strain if you ever even get a choice of what strains.
Generally, it's just like you take what you're given over here. But...
Is it green? Get that green bug.
Can I smoke it?
So it's been a part of my life. It's been helpful medicine for the mental illnesses. I rely solely on cannabis. I used to be on pharmaceutical medication, but I've been off of it since almost 10 years. This is pretty mind-blowing. This is going to be 10 years I've been off of pharmaceutical medication.
Wow, so that's dope.
It was 6 years, 6.5 years, close to 7 on it. I was misprescribed things at times.
I've heard so many stories about this shit. Like, I've heard so much about people getting misprescribed lately. Like, it's astounding. Like, I feel like almost everyone I speak to has been fucked over at some point in their life by someone just handing them pills and going, "Yes, these are the pills for you."
I don't get a commission from giving you more of these. No, not at all.
No, got no deals at all.
It's and then when you're a teenager, they try to say like, "Oh, we don't want to give this to you." They try to play, "You should wait till you're 18," but then like a heartbeat later, they're like, "Nah, I can help you though." So being a young person going through that was very a lot of turmoil.
I bet.
So when I got the opportunity to get out, I did it, and then that's kind of when I found a really deep love for music. When I got pharmaceuticals initially, so. And it was turned out to be a blessing for me, and then I just stayed stoned the whole time.
Nice. Fucking A. Dude, like that's I mean, I know Cranberry's kind of not the same, but I've heard similar stuff from Cranberry. My brother as well. Like he's been on, they've had him on bullshit in the past. It's just like shut him down. And he'll tell me anytime I ask him, like he's just better on weed. Like he just feels able to cope, able to function, able to kind of get out of his own way, I guess, for lack of a better term. And it just seems to work for a lot of people. So all about it.
It helps, stumbling over internal dialogue. Kind of, it like writes that. Like for me, the internal dialogue like gets crooked sometimes. I'm trying to think of there's that one hallway in we'll make it a video game thing because video games.
Yeah, video games guy, Twitch, streaming.
Don't forget, y'all.
Let's plays, controllers. Look at this. Look at that. I got one.
You better pick up them sticks.
Yeah.
You better pick up them sticks.
Yeah.
Porto.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
All
Look
right.
at that. Look at that. Retro games. Bam. We did it.
But there's the one corridor in the Forest Temple in Ocarina of Time that's all twisted. This is a very, I guess, particular call out. If you never played have you played Ocarina of Time, Porto? Oh no, he's looking side to side. That's okay. It's okay. There's time.
Hey, okay. Let me just explain myself here. I never had a 64.
Okay.
Never had a 64. Never. I've never had a 64. Not pre, post. Well, I guess I couldn't have one pre it releasing unless I was.
As you said you had only had handhelds for a long time, right?
I had, yeah. So I had a game. The first one was the Play It Loud, and then because we were poor is probably the wrong way to put it. We were lower, middle working class kind of people, and
same.
And so we would get hand-me-down consoles. So when the PlayStation dropped, we got a Super NES with all these fucking games. I still have that Super NES.
Nice.
And so I was like getting fucking hyped up over, like Donkey Kong Country when people were starting to get into 3D polygons. And then from there, then probably maybe like 4 years into the PS, or even 3 years, then we got a PS. We like kind of got into the current gen, sort of, like a little bit late. And after that...
No, that's how you had to do it.
And that's how I've lived my whole life since. I've just always been like, I just got a PS3. I do have a Switch. But like, that's the first time I've bought a current gen console since the GameCube. And like, I just missed out on the Nintendo 64.
GameCube is where I fell off as well. The GameCube is exactly where I fell off.
Really? Why did you fall off with the game? I kind of love the GameCube.
Just adolescence, just teenage adolescence at that point.
It's a bit kiddie for a teenager. It's a bit kiddie.
Yeah. No, I enjoyed the system. Like, I mean, everyone would come over and play Smash Bros. And then eventually it came back. It was like, hey, let's get stoned and play Smash Bros.
Yeah.
It withstand. It had a lifespan, but yeah, I was playing it still when Xbox 360 and PS3s were coming out, and then that was it. I think we got a Wii in there sometime.
Everyone has a Wii in there sometime. The Wii always pops into someone's console life. It's just like, don't talk about that.
His uncle gave it to us. This is fine.
I just feel like the Wii is just... something about it feels really trashy. I don't know. Something about it, it feels like... Look, I love Super Mario Galaxy. I love New Super Mario Bros. I love... I love...
New Super Mario Bros. Is pretty...
we had a house of stoners who like hadn't had a console in a long time at that point, and like we had a lot of laughs playing at 4 players. Like I'd never played at 1 player or anything like that, but yeah, I think we got the Donkey Kong reboot and stuff like that, and it was a good time. But something about it, like I've seen it on so many shelves in people's living rooms, and it's just like it's dusty and dirty, and things have fallen off the. It just feels like a knockoff console almost. Like it just felt really cheaply made in a way.
I feel like the Wii U seemed like the one where I was like, this is ridiculous. Like people can't even discern if it's a new console or like an add-on. It's like this. I was just like, this is a joke, and like I think Nintendo is like trying to abandon it by pulling any title that had any salt onto the Switch
Yeah,
now,
they're
right? So
erasing it from history. Yeah.
So,
But
and speaking, you mentioned Mario Galaxy. I'm
yes.
interested to try that one time.
Oh man, Mario Galaxy is.
Kind of a bucket list game.
I mean, it was gorgeous. Like, it was mind blowing at the time. I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, gaming has been revolutionized.
480.
You know, but just no, it's the just the spherical, the physics of it all. But it did make me a
Art
little
style.
motion sick.
Oh, okay.
Like, I could only play it for about an hour at a time before I got like step away from this thing. Just the shifting camera kind of did my head in a little bit, but it's a beautiful game. It's a beautiful game. So let me backtrack because I haven't fully explained myself. I've been roasted in my channel a lot for not having played Ocarina of Time. Like, I've been roasted for this.
I don't think that's necessary.
I love Zelda games. I've like Link's Awakening was my favorite game as a kid because I got that shit on the Game Boy like 6 months after or whatever. Link's Awakening is the shit. I've played Twilight Princess. I played Link to the Past. Played Oracle games. Love Zelda. I never did. I never got around to it. I never had the hardware, but I promise I will.
I think that's fair and understandable. And anyone who gave you shit should be nicer to you.
Yes, Spudsy.
Wait a minute.
We love you, Spudsy. We love you.
Shout out to Spudsy.
Shout out to Spudsy.
But in chat earlier, I was like, "Get followed, Spudsy."
Oh man, that makes me so happy that like I feel like I always bring it back to this, but like the willingness to support other people, and not just in this like, oh yeah, I scratch your back, you scratch mine. Like it kind of is that, but it doesn't feel like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's sort of the same thing in function, but not in practice, I find.
I feel you I feel like we're all trying to encourage anyone who is even thinking about attempting streaming, give it a shot.
Yep.
Please give it a shot.
Yep.
See if you like it. See if it's something that could become familiar for you.
Yeah, don't be scared to do it.
Yeah. No, because obviously to feel like you're any good at it, you have to be familiar with it. It's and that's why I felt like the only reason I felt I could make the push this year was like I'd done it all those random times. And that made me excited when Cranberry mentioned he'd done it on and off a bunch of times too. But yeah, Porto, you're fine for not having played Ocarina of Time. I've never played the Seasons games, which I'm actually like I'm curious at those because I played Minish Cap, which was another Capcom joint, and I guess Capcom did the
Seasons games. They're really good. Like, I don't know if you'd be interested in streaming them or anything, but like they kind of just
a recommendation.
It's kind of a recommendation. If I was going to recommend one, I would recommend Seasons over Ages.
Okay,
because that's the one I remember more. But like. It's no, because in Seasons you like the gimmick, I guess. It plays just like colorful Link's Awakening, but with the gimmick of you can change the environment into the 4 different seasons, and then that will like help you to traverse. That's like one of the tools you have. That's kind of the gimmick, but it doesn't feel like a gimmick. It like it feels like it doesn't feel like tacked on to the game. Like, it feels the game utilizes it pretty well.
Yeah, the mechanic is integrated seamlessly enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you ever play Minish Cap?
No. Haven't played it.
So I have a fun story about Minish Cap.
Please do. I'm going out of focus. There I am.
Come back from the fishbowl. So I barely remember Minish Cap, but I know I beat it because I looked at the file afterward. So I had my wisdom teeth taken out.
Oh shit! I've been there.
And they blasted me with hydrocodone, and I was just gone playing Minish Cap the whole time apparently, and I barely remember it. But but there was the save file. Lo and behold,
there's evidence to support that you did it.
There was, yes. But of course, like I said, I've pared down my physical collection insanely. Do you have much physical gaming media at this point?
Not
I mean, you're over
really.
here reading books on streams. I don't think that shit's as important for you.
No, well, okay, so I've got I kind of have sentimental attachment to my Super NES carts. But then again, I don't have them like that well organized. They're just in a bag and I pull them out. But that's how I always had them. Like they were just like, yes.
Either a bag or a shoebox.
Exactly. And well, speaking of which, I've got a shoebox over here somewhere that has like an old grape Game Boy Color and some shit in there as well. I don't have a ton. Like I think anything after, I'm just looking back at some of these janky PS3 boxes I've got on my shelf over here, because I'm kind of trying to get rid of them.
Brand spanking new PS3.
My brand spanking new. Welcome to 2007, everybody. I feel only attachment to Game Boy carts, Game Boy Advance carts. I like carts. I really like carts. I don't have a huge physical collection though. Most of my Switch, the only games I have physical on Switch are Super Mario Maker 2 and the collection of Mana. Because I just saw it on sale.
Nice.
I was like, bang, bang.
Yes. Bang, bang.
Bang, bang.
So I played the demo for Trials of Mana, the reboot.
Looks good. Looks pretty, the reboot.
It was a great demo. But I want to go back and play on the alternative Super Famicom that can be streamed, the fan translation of Seiken Densetsu 3.
Yes. Okay.
That was my very first encounter ever with, and I'm going to say it, emulation. And ROMs! I know, what is this that I speak of? These are
sorcery.
Bleep me out at this part. Okay, Poro, bleep me out. So I played Seiken Densetsu 3 fully untranslated before the fan translation came out. Small child.
Fully untranslated?
Yes, just the Japanese.
Are you? Are we learning something about AudaxSmoke?
I didn't play through it.
Okay. Okay.
I looked at it and hit the button as many times as I could figure out with what I couldn't read.
I guess you could learn how to play it that way still. Like if I do this, that means attack probably.
Yeah. No, because the in game, it's an active RPG.
Action RPG,
Action RPG, yeah. And but that was actually my very first encounter with a Z-SNES. The one that failed Cranberry.
I was about to say that's the one that fucked Cranberry over.
I hope he abandons the fuck out of Z-SNES.
Fuck you, Z-SNES. Actually, I love you, Z-SNES. You're the only SNES emulator I've ever used.
You helped us. Like I just said, you were my first experience with emulating. Please come back, Z-SNES. Please.
I've emulated a bit on stream, but I think when I started, because you just learn as you go along, right? Like I started thinking like, oh, I don't want to get in trouble. Like anyone was going to even fucking see my stream at the start. Like I don't want to get in trouble, so I'm just going to like make sure I emulate Game Boy carts that I have, and I'll show them. And I like still have this here on my thing, so when I did this, that I could show people. This is where I was like, no, guys, I own it. See, like I own the game. I own it. It's no joke. Like, and then I would, emulate it.
I'm just playing on my Super Game Boy.
Real hardware, guys. Real hardware.
Yeah.
Even to the point where like I bought. This is a game we've both streamed. Phoenix Wright.
Oh my!
I bought that. I had that on DS.
That was an experience.
Tell me about that, dude, because I got a sense that you're a little bit fatigued halfway through that. I got a sense you're a little bit fatigued by that game.
What fatigued me was that final episode that they apparently only added subsequently in the DS version, the 5th episode. And that was just long, and I was going hard doing voice acting the whole time.
You're doing a great job, by the way. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm applying to Funimation anytime. I will be Goku soon. Hi, everybody. I'm Goku. That's my Goku. You love it. No, but I was giving it my all, I was having very fun being performative as the characters in Phoenix Wright. And I actually had people. It was a really good time because I brought people in on the Discord calls and had them do some voice acting.
Oh, I didn't see any of that. That's a great idea, actually.
I had our friend Riggedy Rex, my friend Pete. She dropped in and did some voice acting, and then we had Mechanist Ian do some voice. Cranberry jumped in and did Edgeworth.
Oh, you did Edgeworth? Nice. I like Edgeworth.
That was a lovely time. Edgeworth was the man of a million voices. I think 4 different people did Edgeworth between me, Cranberry, Timbo. I think 17 did Edgeworth at one point. So having the revolving door of people coming through to help me just give my vocal cords a rest. I'm so grateful to them. Everyone, the community really helped make those streams. But I did make the 10-hour final push stream on that 5th episode.
Wow.
I thought I was halfway done with that. I don't think I was halfway done with that. And so yes, I was fatigued at the end of Phoenix.
I mean, understandably so.
Your experience? Did you do much of voice acting at all?
I voice acted the whole way through it. But
that's my boy.
I took a break. After 3 episodes. After the Turnabout Samurai episode. Yep. I just
tragedy on the set.
It was a tragedy. It really was. I'm glad the justice was served. But
justice.
Well, hang on. It wasn't a spoiler. Wasn't it just a fucking accident in the end? Isn't that what happened? Wasn't that no one was a murderer? I'm pretty sure that's what the end result was like. Someone accidentally fell onto a spike.
Look at you out here trying to spoil Phoenix Wright.
Yeah, well, it's been out for like 15 years, guys.
I blocked it on my head. I was fatigued. Did we just say this?
Yeah, I made it up. I don't know what happened. I've never played it. No, but like,
it was the old business lady, I think.
Yeah, but I feel like she like accidentally. She was one of my favorite characters.
Old crime.
Yeah. She was up to some like corporate treachery or some shit. But like,
this is gonna be a blast when we both play the second game.
I thought it was a hard game to stream. Actually, I thought it was very fun to stream, and I actually think like looking back on that, like the idea that you had seems really good. Getting people in a Discord call, like that sounds like a real fun time.
Yes.
It felt a little one-way traffic when I was doing it. Like it felt a little bit like, and now Porto for 7 hours, and now nothing but Porto relentlessly in your eardrums.
It's a visual novel game. Apparently I've never played visual novel games. The closest thing I've ever played is now Phoenix Wright, and there's a story mode of BlazBlue, this weird anime.
I downloaded that game. I bought it on Steam for like $3 a little while ago, and I was like, yeah, some fucking anime fighting, and then I just get into like a 30-minute cutscene at the start. I'm like, I'm out of here.
It was a secret visual novel under the guise of anime fighter. Those buttons felt all right, but damn, that was long. I don't know if I have. So because I guess what was the weird Colonel Sanders one you said you stream?
Okay,
is that one technically a visual novel, or is that?
It's kind of it's like a dating sim. Okay. Okay, so that was a redemption stream.
Definitely has genre I haven't tried yet.
That was a bonus stream, and that was like suggested by people, and I thought, it would just be goofy one time and do it.
Let's talk about suggestions.
Suggestions. All right. Yeah. Okay. Okay, do you respond to them anymore?
I am going to, yes.
Yes?
It's not going to be a guarantee I'll do it, but because for me, the month of August was going back to goal bars. I used to do a follower goal bar. I'm going to say used to, because I'm starting this new chapter out these goal bars.
New chapter. Love it.
That's right. But I had a follower goal, and I was like, I'll play any recommendation. So that's kind of what the month of August was. I was playing mostly recommendation.
Oh, really? All of August?
I played like Esau, and I played Trip World, which is do you know Trip World? Trip World is
a Game Boy platformer, right?
That is a very charming little experience.
I've heard it's awesome.
That is. I wish I was tripping while I was playing it, honestly.
Yeah, I've heard it's really intelligent as well. Like I feel like the enemies have like kind of good AI for a Game Boy game as well. Like I feel like there's some weird shit going on with that game.
It's weird. A lot of them are passive. So it's like you run by them, and that's why they didn't release it in like the North American region.
Not enough killing.
Not aggressive enough. Too cute. It's like, what are you talking about? We have Kirby over here. Come on. But of course, even Kirby, they made him angry on literally every piece of box art.
Also, Kirby's a stone cold killer. Like
he's a celestial god destroyer.
Kirby's pure evil. That's pure. I actually think Kirby is pure evil. This is not even me trying to be funny. Like,
no, I'm with you.
Kirby's like this like innocent face of pure destruction. Like, man,
cosmic horror.
Fucking A.
Absolute. Like, there's a great series on YouTube by a guy named Wooly. This guy in Quebec. Oh God. All the Canadian friends.
Cranberry, help us out.
Don't help Cranberry, Quebecois. And he has a great YouTube series, Wooly Versus, and he streams. But he did a whole video series on YouTube of Kirby lore, and he goes deep into the cosmic terror and eldritch horror that is Kirby.
That sounds rad. I might have to get into that.
I would highly recommend that to anybody.
DM that to me after this.
Okay. And I'm just glad you agree that he is actually hidden wrath incarnate.
Well, yeah, and like the candy colors, and there's something like
the deception,
sickeningly sweet about it. You know, like this, like you can imagine at any point, you know, like the music would change tone and just go, and then
creepypasta shit.
Yes.
We're all the good Kirby creepypastas. If we get anything out of this episode, Porto, can we please, everybody out there in the world, send us those banger Kirby creepypastas?
Hit us up, internet. Come on now,
please.
So you're still doing suggestions? Like you're still open to like.
I have a text document that I keep with suggestions, and you know, it's something to look at every once in a while.
I think it's important to you know, because streaming is a two-way thing, right? And I think it's important for that interactivity. People, it's like friends. Like it's you know, when you have friends, like, oh, you know, you like this game. What about this game? They hand you the game. Like that's kind of how all recommendations work, right? I think something I've become a little bit wary of though is when someone recommends something, but they just kind of like they just did it on a whim.
Yeah.
Try this.
No.
And
it takes
then
5 seconds to type that.
Takes 5 seconds to type, but it takes 25 hours to play it. Like, and so that's my kind of like, you know, I got a recommendation by someone who I really actually trust their opinion as well. And I think it's a good recommendation. I can't remember. It's this kind of open worldy survival, like if you like Morrowind, you will like this. And it looks really good, but I'm scared to stream it because it's like, it's 100 hours plus.
Okay, yeah, that's very intimidating.
Yeah, but it looks good though.
And I wonder about that. Should I start looking up beforehand? Because I know they have sites like that where it's like the average completion time.
I always look at that now. I always look at that.
I am heavily floundering at everything I'm doing.
No, of course you're not. That's ridiculous.
We're learning every day.
I think everyone has their process, right? Like,
but I like that you do that. I've thought about doing that. I would like to maybe consider doing that, and that might make maybe taking suggestions a little more, at least give for me a better context of how I could place them in the available time.
Yeah.
If I can.
Every game I get suggested, I at least go to howlongtobeat.com. Howlongtobeat.com, and then I'll, you know, on a kind of self-motivate, like a self-interest level, I'll check it out on Twitch, see if anyone ever looks at it. Like if something's, this is something I've had a problem with lately. Like there's a lot of like current gen indie games that look really fun that I think I would enjoy, and I think would be a good time to stream, and I've had them suggested, but like, I check out Twitch and they've got 300 followers on Twitch as opposed to like, you know, like 50,000 or something like that. And And I just because I do like the idea of growing as a channel. It just like if it's an old game, it's fine because you can say retro. But if it's a new
retro,
indie game, it's like, what the fuck do you do?
I would say my gut instinct just right here, right now, hearing you say it, is just do it anyways. Be the guy that puts it on the map for whether it's your 10 or so regular
That's a good point. There's a point there. There's a point there. Yeah.
I don't know if there's any way you can. That's why I kind of like Twitter. I'm like, I want to almost reach out. If I do play more indie games, I want to reach out to the people and be like, hey, this is live here. If anyone even cares about it, I'm going to be playing a game in October, Death Road to Canada.
Oh, I've heard about that. Yeah.
So good. I put in like 87, 90-ish hours into it.
Dope.
And I've just fallen in love with it. It's such a charming game. It's like a choose your own adventure. You know those books where it used to say like flip the page to see what happens.
Man, I love choose your own adventure. I love that shit.
It kind of has that, but then it has a little bit of action RPG, Link to the Past kind of feeling segments where you're running through the town getting supplies. It's a good just blend. The pacing of it is really well. There's like a character creator. I want to incorporate chat, so it's like I'm really excited to do the stream. I'm almost wondering like should I reach out to developers on Twitter and be like, yo, I'm gonna go push your game hard for a week, like and really have some fun with it because I know how to have some fun with it. And
that's a good idea. I mean, you should. It sounds like it can't hurt, right?
Yeah, so it's like, and I could stop and see like, is there anyone actually streaming Death Road to Canada? But like, I trust that one, and at least go for the games you trust. As what I guess if I'm giving unsolicited advice.
No, I definitely am taking your advice on.
Give you like a genuine reaction, like yeah, fuck it, throw it up there because we want to see you having fun too. Is the thing. So it's like they want to see us just having our genuine reactions to things we want to play.
Oh, ultimately, there's never been something that I've played that I don't want to play. There's been things that I've played that I've decided after 10 hours I no longer want to play it, or even 5. But like everything I've played has to some degree been, I want to play this. No, I wouldn't. Jesus, I sometimes wonder about people who are just like stuck on Fortnite or stuck on Minecraft, or like their identity is just you are this game. Yeah. This is you. Like, what the fuck do they do as time goes on?
I feel like I had a tiny glimpse of that when I was doing like the Blood level 4 challenge run.
Oh, you were doing challenge runs on Bloodborne. Wow, hardcore.
I did. And that's something I'd be kind of interested in talking about is the how streaming has brought out, at least in my case, I've used it as a tool. Like, fuck it, I might as well be in competition with myself and try to push myself as a gamer and do these things I maybe never even cared about doing as a teenager or whatever, or as a kid. Like, fuck it, I want to do these random challenge runs. I'm a masochist now. I like the pain. Bring it on.
Yeah,
give me the lashes. I want to do a dance when I get when I dodge the whip right. And so, but that was the thing. I was trapped. I was only doing Blood level 4. This challenge. So the challenge run is in Bloodborne. You don't level your character up.
Yeah, you
can
just
upgrade your weapon. You can you get your little runes or whatever, but you don't level the character up. So I was doing Bloodborne for 2.5 or 3 months as the only thing I ever streamed.
I mean, great game, but
no, maybe it was like more like 2 months, 2 months or 2.5 months, because like some bosses took me 50 hours.
Yeah,
it was a real test against myself, but I actually did have fun that whole time.
Yeah.
But it was like once I stopped streaming Bloodborne, guess what? Certain people weren't showing up.
Wow, that's the thing, right? And that can.
That's why I'm glad. I'm variety all the way. I am trying to be, going back to what you're saying about how you're conflicted about playing certain indie games, is be the streamer that you would want to watch, right? And that's what I've really strived to be. And I feel like I have been the streamer. I can go back and make a highlight of my stream and not be too cringe. Not too cringe.
Yeah.
I can be like, yeah, no, there's a moment, or it's like, yeah, I was genuinely pumped about that moment, and that hype is real. Like, there's a clip of my Sekiro win that I'm like, I look back on, I'm like, how do I get that excited?
I'm charged up. I love that shit.
Yeah, so it's bringing out, using streaming to bring out the best in you as whether a performer or a gamer, you could say that, but so
just
how do you feel about that? Would you ever go for a challenge run of sorts with like a game you're kind of already familiar with?
You know, that's really interesting. I have actually, with the exception of a couple of the old Game Boy titles I played, I've basically gone kind of like a blind run route in that, and that's for selfish reasons actually. That's because there's so much I've missed out on, like, and there's so much that I wish I could get around to, that I'm sort of like two birds with one stone in it, where I know that personally, like when I watch stuff, I love watching, if I'm going to watch, and we spoke about this on the Discord briefly, like we both, I think, started, don't mean to put words in your mouth, but we both started watching Let's Plays on YouTube.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah.
And for me, the type of Let's Plays I love were games that I loved from the past or the recent or distant past, seeing someone run it the first time. And those moments of like, this moment's coming, and how are they going to respond to that? And so like I personally love
there's a novelty to that.
Yeah, consuming blind runs for me is kind of like that feeling of a friend on the couch watching your favorite movie with you or something like that the first time, where you're like, you're not going to spoil anything, but you're like really like living it vicariously through them in a way.
I like that approach.
And so like that's what I like to consume, and so I know that there's value in that content, which is a dirty word as we all know, but the content, but also on a selfish level, like there's just games I want to play. Like there's consoles I've had, like for example, I just got a PS3. I've never had any PS3 games in my life, and so I want to play.
Do you have what other titles are you looking forward to other than like we know Demon Souls?
Demon Souls, I'm psyched for. I'm psyched to go back and do the expansions for Morrowind. Like I played Morrowind back in the days. I'm fucking amped to go back and play like Tribunal and Blood Moon. Just because that's a fucking lot. Like I just find myself laughing all the way through that game. It's so janky. It's vastly open world. It's very weird. It's dark. It's creepy. It's just beautiful. It's a wonderful game. What else am I excited for?
I entered the Porto saga a little bit after, the depths of your Morrowind. I'm catching up on a little bit on YouTube.
Oh, dude, it makes me laugh so much, that game. It's just so funny.
I'm glad you're archiving it over there too, because like I said, I get genuinely, I'm looking through the subscription usually for like music to listen to or like some game news or whatever. But there's Porto, and I'm like, oh shit.
That means a lot.
I'll watch Porto on YouTube, and then I don't have to feel bad about lurking. But I think you just do the raw ass stream too, not too much editing. I was curious, what do you think about blocking it up more?
What exactly do you mean?
The 12-hour. Dump.
Just dumping
multiple episodes.
So chopping 12 hours into multiple episodes.
Yeah. I was wondering what Porto considered at that point.
I think that's probably a better way of doing it, to be frank. Here, like, honest truth is, I wasn't putting much.
I'm not trying to tell you how to do it.
No, not at all, dude. Not at all. The honest truth is that, like, at the time, I was just using YouTube as a way to export my videos. I'm like, this Morrowind playthrough, I've really enjoyed it. I kind of don't want to lose it. Like, a lot of other stuff that I was playing at the same time, I was like, oh, whatever, But, like, I really didn't want to lose it, so I was just moving it over there. I'm like, I guess I'll put it up. And for the first couple, I would edit them just on the YouTube editor, just make a couple of cuts and cut, like, the waiting, starting soon bit and all that kind of bullshit.
Okay.
But then
I didn't even know they had like a built-in editor.
They've got a very, very bare bones. You can cut, basically, like very bare bones. But it works. And but it only works if it's up to a certain length. And as I was streaming more, they got longer and longer. And once it's over like 7 or 8 hours, you can't edit it anymore. And so like I was just like, well, too busy working on this stream, so I'm just going to dump this 11-hour stream I put up with no fucking editing at all. It's not the great, it's not the most professional, but that's what it is.
No, that's why I like streaming as well, because it's a very DIY, do it yourself kind of attitude.
Yeah.
I was
yeah.
always more drawn to that in music as well.
Mm,
Make your own album art, fucking release your own music. All
Oh,
those
yeah.
albums on YouTube were just some like weird art style I kind of slapped together. I started making these weird like digital image, like abstract images. You can actually see it on it's my background when I'm playing like a retro game where it doesn't fit the whole widescreen. You'll see like this weird like red and gray pixel kind of weird art in the background, and that was like this weird phase I went through where I had all this I'm like streaming's been okay. So there's this weird thing I've been thinking about in my head is because we were talking a lot about art and creativity earlier in your stream before we got going on this.
Dude, yeah, I still got a lot of questions
That
about
was a
that
good
as well.
time.
Yeah.
And my question is streaming artistic?
Great question.
Streaming
Great
creative?
fucking question. Great fucking question.
Of course it's creative, but is it artistic? And I've heard arguments for both ways. And I personally I think there's a lot of artistic elements that go into streaming.
I think
like because for me like we've been talking about, we lean toward being genuine. We just like we is who we is. So it's not so much of this performance thing that you see actually, and that you learned maybe in retrospect, is a lot of those YouTubers we used to love, like they're just super performative.
yes.
It's like
yes.
it's like you can't like you really trust people to be on like that all the time. So it was interesting.
I think with what you're saying, there's obviously a creative aspect, obviously. As for art, can it be artistic? I think that just depends. I think it all depends on the personality of the streamer. And I know that's a very sit on the fence answer, but I think the process, like if you look at somebody like, and I hate to bring like a huge name into this, but I'm just going to do it because it's a known quantity, let's say. If you look at someone like a Dr. Disrespect, I would say love it, hate it, indifferent to it. That I would view as a performative art. Like, I would view that as art. Like I would view that as, if you view playing a character as art, which I think acting is an art.
I'm of the mind usually that there are many forms of art.
Yeah.
I even feel editing can be an art.
Yep.
So it's weird though. It's like, do you look at the archive stream and say that's my piece of art, or do you say that's my just like a journal entry of sorts? Is it just because it's like, okay, if you go to a concert, or no, you don't go to a concert anymore.
You certainly do not. You watch it on Twitch.
You watch that shit online and you love it. But a person goes to a concert with a video camera and they film the concert.
They put it online.
That videotape or that video, that's not art. That's
a document.
Documentation of exactly.
But I would say the difference is that you're not. If somebody came in with a phone, that would be fucking weird if that happened. But if someone came in midstream and just like started squatting over in this invisible zone over here and just filming my stream, I mean, that's not art from them. That's just some sicko who broke into my house, you know. But yeah, get the fuck out of here. But like, I think that, you know, the thing is that when you're streaming, you are not only you are curating things like a radio station to a degree. I like to think of it as kind of a radio station. But instead of music, there's games, or there's games and music in the case of your stream and many others. But
I probably spend more time than people realize on the order of tracks sometimes. That's not randomized. That's me sitting, hanging out for a half hour while I'm getting everything set up, being
attention to detail.
What could sound fun today? What could be a fun order? What could segue into this?
Yeah, you're curating
Sometimes I just throw a whole album on, just let it run. But I've been mixing up a lot of the order of tracks that I play.
Yeah, because you're involved in trying to set. I'm sorry if I'm correct me if I'm wrong as well, but trying to establish a flavor, a mood, and an environment. And I
A
think
vibe.
if that is a real thing indeed. And by the way, have you seen? Oh, dude, have you? No, okay, I'm getting sidetracked. I'll come back to that. And I think in bringing music, gaming, a persona, images, the moving image, a narrative dialogue, or at least, you're a narrator, right? An interaction, an interpretation. You're basically, what's the word? Interfacing with all of these media. That's, you can't tell me that's not an art of some kind. Like that's, I don't know how else to define it, but I think there is an art to it, you know? Yeah. I don't know if it's a high art, but it's an art.
It's a process, and a lot of processes are art.
Yep.
In my opinion. So it gets the pass. I think at the most, but then the argument is, I think we've both agreed that streaming is can be an art, or an attempt at art at the very least.
It can be. I don't know if
that's actually what I like to say the most. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, that's fine.
I just want to get this thought out real fast. Is that I think it's better to never proclaim yourself as an artist, but as a person who attempts to make art.
Yes.
I think you will find a lot more comfort with yourself and your creations if you accept that.
Okay. Yep. I'm with that. So
unless you're pretentious as fuck and you need that shit for your ego. So have it. I mean, do what you gotta do for yourself, you know, but
if that's
what works for me.
No, I'm with that. And that's something I've had in the past with many things I've done, like the way to, you know, how you define yourself. So imagine if we're on a first date right now, AudaxSmoke, which we basically are.
Hey, Porto.
Yeah, all right. How am I going out of 10? But if we're on this first date right now, and I ask you, thank you. I heard that. What do you do? What do you do? I hate this question, by the way. I hate this question. But Mr. AudaxSmoke, what do you do?
I would say, yeah, I'm a part-time person who attempts art. I'm a laborer on hiatus. I am because I've worked on organic farms. I've done everything from, like, I've worked customer service. I've done tech crew laborer for music festivals here in Northern California for several summers. I've worked at Blockbuster doing customers. I think I mentioned that. But mostly for the last couple of years, I was working on an organic farm as a laborer, a local organic farm. Nothing too huge, but we were able to provide our county 10% of its produce for the time I was there, so I felt good. Really, like, there's some image I saw earlier, but it's like everyone wants to be so radical these days. That's a guy, you know, with his auto. And he's like, I'm ready to revolutionize. And there's a farmer standing. This is like just a little like satire comic. And there's a guy standing next to him. And he's like, you don't even know how to grow a tomato. And I learned how to grow the tomatoes, and that was like really important to me. So I hold that close to my heart, you know. But I was a laborer, is what I would say.
That's what you would say. Okay. I just always find that a really charged question. What I get from your answer is that you're just many things and you're just an interesting human being, but like, no, for real. But like, you know, like, I don't know what I would answer in that situation now. Like, there was a time where I would say I am this job, but like, even as like, I've met a lot of people, I know a lot of people who work in various or are trying to make it in various creative industries. You know, mostly music, I would say, or have at some stage in the past tried to make it in those industries. And there's that thing like, oh, I'm a DJ, I'm a rapper, I'm a painter, I'm a this, I'm a that. And I've always found it tricky personally to say that I am one singular thing that I do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
so
I mean,
I like your answer.
Oh, thank you. Definitely nowadays, I would say, I'm trying to. I don't know if I would use the dreaded word content, because I really I'm putting my time into streaming, and some months are better than others. And I'm happy to. I'm safe enough at least to do this ride for now.
Yep.
And then I will ask myself the questions I need to ask myself when time arises. And again, like I said, if I need to go back to manual labor, I will do that. I have to do that for my family and for my own sake too, just to feel like I'm doing something with myself.
Yeah.
But I honestly feel like I'm doing something with myself with streaming. I genuinely am surprised at any momentum I've found, and somehow comes back, and it's and I knew it would be fruitless to go into this and not have fun my own as well.
Yeah.
But I have put in a lot of time that you don't see on the stream. It's a lot of figuring this shit out. It's a lot of like trying to get yourself in a mindset where you like, I can do this. I literally say out loud to myself, I can do this. I can do this before I hit those buttons. I have to get myself there. So like earlier I talked about how, because we're talking about it's not performative, but you do filter yourself to a degree. Like, I'm obviously not going to bring the worst version of myself to the stream.
Yeah.
Like when I say I'm having like a mood swing, and like I just might be a little less talkative that day. I might be a little more agitated, slightly easier. I might get salty a little easier. That's the worst I will personally allow on stream. I will check with chat and be like, is this watchable? Like, I'm not afraid to do that. I think that's okay to do. And you need to ask yourself that, is this watchable? But sometimes it might. A lot of times when I thought I was being excessively salty, and I check in with chat, and they're like, "You're actually fine." Like, so a lot of times it could be internal perception. So chat can kind of be there for you.
Yeah, it's hard to know yourself.
So it's good to have people in there that you trust, and that's a big part of it. But it's yeah, you gotta keep yourself going one way or another.
Absolutely. Hey, before I forget, there was something you mentioned a little while ago where you were talking, you sort of alluded to the some months it's up, some months it's down.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to know is how are you able to sort of interpret that? Because personally, and I've been in this for less time than you, so I have a little less experience, but I've long enough to see ups and downs. And how are you able to interpret that in a way that is that's not damaging or destructive? How are you able to deal with that kind of up and down momentum?
Because we are our worst critiques or critics, right? We deliver the worst critiques to ourselves.
Yes, absolutely.
So when one of the things we need to forget the numbers. That's again is the thing. This is our time. We are digital street performers. This is a very important point I want to make.
All right. Okay, I haven't heard this one before. All right.
We are digital street performers. We are the guy painted up shiny with kazoo in his mouth.
Oh God, are we that guy? Are we really that guy?
We are those guys. We are those guys, and that's okay, Porto. No, that's okay.
Okay. I just had to take that in. For a moment. Okay.
Because we have it better than them. We have instead of people just passing by, we're doing a thing that actually draws people to hang out and chill.
That's true. We don't have people coming by that don't necessarily kind of want to be.
We're not a spectacle.
Yeah.
But we are putting ourselves out there. You're a spectacle.
No, you.
No, you. All right. And so, and then that also comes back to the suggestions things. It's like, if your friend comes in and half-heartedly suggests something, it's like I'm trying to do the robot and whistle a kazoo right now, and you're asking me to do what? It's one thing I used to always say is because I worked at Blockbuster Video, rest in peace.
R.I.P. Blockbuster Video. I think there's one left. There's one left somewhere.
There might be one left. I think it's a bed and breakfast now. If
God
what
damn.
I heard is correct. It's really weird.
They probably make a killing.
But but the analogy I made up because I worked there was metaphor, I guess it would be, is I could be carrying a stack of like 40 movies, and I'm trying to balance this stack, and I'm trying to put them all back where they go because people ruin the fucking store. And you could come up to me with my favorite movie of all time and be like, I'm just gonna put it up here on your stack, and I'd be like, don't do it. And I would hate that movie in that instant.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Or I wouldn't be able to handle it. I wouldn't be able to take it because I'm trying so hard to balance this stack.
You're overloaded.
And it's kind of like that too. And when you're trying to juggle everything, like you said. So, we're out here doing our best, and you got to roll with the punches. Sometimes it rains when you're out here digitally street performing. We get E-rain.
Sometimes it happens.
Some nights feel like that.
Bit of that E-rain. I feel like the equivalent of E-rain is like the power dropping or the bit rate going to shit, or like
the ISP saying, no, fuck you.
No, fuck you.
That is one of the hardest things for me to contain on stream, is not getting that instant salt, seeing that red bar on OBS. Because my bit rate is going to shit, and then all the frames are dropping, the frame drops are climbing, and I really need to work up better on not obsessing over this. And I'm very conscious of this, but something about that, like, just hits, because it feels like everything you're trying to do is just being taken out of your hands.
Powerlessness, right? It's powerlessness, and the whole thing is, for me at least, one of the biggest motivations, besides just enjoying the thing, et cetera, to do something like this, is to have a bit more agency in my own life, and and to be self-determining to an extent. And like you spoke of earlier, there is a lot of work that goes into it behind the scenes. There's a lot of thought that goes into it. There's a lot of planning, and that shows on your stream. And I think that shows on all good streams. And that when everything you have done to to be your best self, to be disciplined, to put in the effort, where you feel like you've done everything right, and then for something out of your hands to go wrong, that is immensely frustrating. So I understand.
I think the keyword you use there, discipline, is it really does take a willingness to sit there and know that you're kind of rolling the dice. I'm looking, and then you're constantly questioning yourself. Do I change my schedule around? What is it? This is some weird peak hour shit happening? Do I start? That's another reason why I stream at night, is I'm just trying to dodge any bullet, all these invisible bullets that are flying at us, and our will to attempt to bring art and entertainment, and just
trying to bring art, guys. I mean, come on.
Decompression for ourselves too, and an opportunity to feel like ourselves, because it's a familiar thing these days. So to not especially when you're feeling good, and you're like, and maybe the gameplay is good too, and you're on point, and you're beating bosses, and your shit's just chunky as fuck. So you're scrambling to it's all the because I wanted to get back, but is the playing of the video game art is another argument I've heard people say.
Well, wow. Okay, is
it art to play a video game?
Is it art to play a video game? Well, I mean, you haven't seen me play Final Fantasy Adventure yet, is all I can say to that.
Okay.
No, that's bullshit. Yeah. I think some games are obviously trying to tap into creativity and be art, a la the Terrarias and the Minecrafts and the sandbox type games. I have a good friend of mine has recommended a Let's Player who, unfortunately, I still haven't looked at, but I've subscribed to them, and they're very popular. And their whole thing is that they get sandbox games and make like a 30-minute video of them trying to do some kind of hilarious, broken, conceptually, not like break the game like I'm an overpowered character, but more like, let's like try and push an idea to its limit and see like what we can do with this, with the physics, or with like creating something, or and I think there's a certain like scientific art to that. I would say
there's an art maybe to like glitch hunters are kind of a fascinating thing.
Yeah.
Or,
yes.
I think, but it's I want to say it's more expressive than artistic
Mm.
because the game only has so many outcomes unless you're able to like completely shatter its code. Um,
What about then as a counterpoint?
uh
What about skateboarding? Do you think skateboarding is artistic?
Yes.
So my and I, you know, I love skateboarding. I don't do it anymore, but I just love it as a thing, even just to perceive it. I like. Particularly for me, I like street skating, watching people interface with an urban environment and see what they can do with the environment. I guess
Yeah.
I draw the analogy because, in a sense, they are limited to an interaction with a predefined world. So, like, you've got your
Mhm.
staircases, you've got your rails, you've got your
The
hills,
board itself and
you've
the
got the
trucks and
board
all that.
itself, and there's kind of a limitation, but I feel like there's creativity, there's a lot of room for creativity within that. And I guess I probably feel like playing a game, depending on the game and what the limitations are, but playing certain games can invite a similar level of artistry, I would say, to something like skating. I don't know. That would be my counterpoint to that.
Okay, okay. No, I didn't want to say it's wholly isn't artistic, but I that's something, yeah, pulls me to it's more expressive. Like the same ways you can only paint, I guess you could say you could only paint so many types of paintings with only green paint.
Well, yeah, and how
Um,
much like how
like how much are you considering the limitations in your perspective, I guess.
that's true. Can you artistically play Tetris? Probably
I
not.
think you can expressively play Tetris.
Well, yes, you
See
can.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Um, I think increasingly you can. Or no, not increasingly. I think it depends on the open endedness of the game. Like, as well with like music. Can you
I like that
make
you actually music. Go
well?
ahead.
Sorry to butt in. Can you, with maybe one note, can you be artistic with one note? Like maybe. I don't know.
You can be rhythmic with it.
Yeah. That's the sampling argument as well. That's where people were hating on sampling. It's like, oh, but you're ripping something that somebody else did, so you didn't make it. But it's like, yeah, but then if you play C
Layers
minor,
of the
you didn't write C minor either. Like, it's like
time. Right.
at what point is the combination of things, like what's the tipping point for it to be art? I don't know.
And to take it past just one note, more in the realm of instruments is something that's always kind of interested me. Is That's why I like electronic music and particularly hardware equipment. I keep, you know, alluding to over here that I have all the synths and drum machines and shit
It's
over
hidden. I
here.
want to see them, by the way. I want to see them.
I'll rotate it over there and remove the dusty pillowcases because I haven't been jamming enough recently.
Mm.
But what I always liked is that I started building this weird combination of synthesizers that the chances of someone else having this exact same combination of synthesizers and drum machines from the decades of the 80s to the 90s to the 2000s to the 2010s at the most recent 40 spanning a 40 year span,
Mm.
um the chances of anyone having this exact same setup out there in the world is like slim to none.
Yeah.
They might have 2 or 3 units and use them in tandem the same way with MIDI daisy chains like I do, but I'm making purely AudaxSmoke, AECK, Allen music. I take pride in that. So it's like I want to try and do that the best I can. So if
Mm.
somehow magically someone does come along that has this exact same setup, that they can have a blueprint of how to do it well with.
Fuck yeah.
Like
Fuck yeah.
that's kind of how I approach streaming. Is like I had kept my ears open. I was like, what microphone are they using? What webcam are they using?
Mm.
I mean, I'm just using the Logitech 1080, the same, probably the same as you guys.
Mm.
And then the Snowball microphone, and I just figured out how can I squeeze the most juice out of these things? How can I push it to the limit and get the least worry out of myself, knowing that I've tried my best.
I
So
love
it's
that
like
shit.
I think that's a good way to approach it. Is this if you are going to use the tools, look it's hard to be 100% unique on Twitch. I feel like you and me, and all of our friends, Cranberry, everybody who streams, they are bringing, whether it's just their own personalities and charisma, and they're bringing it to the streams, or trying to, at least. It's you rarely see like a flat person on, like a truly flat person. I mean, there's some people that don't have, and then I want to actually I wish it was more normalized that people did stream without cameras and microphones.
Oh, okay. I
don't know how I feel about the whole VTuber thing yet, but I'm not against it. And
yeah.
But I feel like people shouldn't be, gatekeeped.
Oh no, I think people should be able to do it. Like, I wouldn't want to shut anyone down from doing it, because if there's a demand for, if you know what I mean, like, I'm all about people having freedom to do what they do.
It's just that sense that, like, you gotta do these particular loops with the webcam and the mic and the feed, whatever it is. Like,
yeah, there are conventions, and.
Are you in the top left corner looking at the game, or are you in the top right corner looking at the game? Are you in the bottom right looking at the game, or are you in the top left looking at the game? And then I actually do have a reason for my personal placement, at least.
What's your reason?
I'm sure we all do.
Do tell.
I don't want the chat to have to, if you're looking, because I've just looked at it from the way that I watch streams, which is in a browser on my monitor. And like, you'll do theater mode or whatever, but it's like, I don't want to have to, so I'm looking at chat, and then I want to look over at the stream and what's going on at the stream. I don't want to have to jump over the streamer themselves to see what's going on the stream. So I'm at the other end. Is my weird kind of logic to it. I just didn't like, because then you're looking at all the way over at like the left side of your screen. To get the actual gameplay, and or if that's what you're there for. If you're there for the stream, of course, it's completely different.
Yeah.
But that's just why I personally do it. But I don't think anyone's doing it wrong.
I think the important point is that you thought about why you're doing it, and you thought about, like, rather than being like, oh, but this is what you're supposed to do. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Like,
I'm sure people might argue otherwise, but it's like, that it makes sense to me, and I hope I relate it in a way that you could at least follow my breadcrumbs to where I got to my conclusion.
I see the logic. My reasoning was, well, my reasoning is actually a weird one, and this is probably a little insight into the lunacy that is my mind. But so the way I tend to look at games, like, I tend to play them on, I've got two monitors, and I tend to be looking at this one generally, though it has changed recently, while looking at chat over here. And so I'm like top right, yes, that's right. And so, like, the way it kind of looks is that I'm looking at the game, like I'm looking down at the game, and it just kind of, like, for me, for my weird aesthetics and my, personal breed of insanity, that, like, is clean. And I just like the immersive sense of the streamers looking at the thing they're doing. Yes, even though it's not real at all, it's completely fabricated.
No, my brain likes this imaginary rule as well. It's, I don't know if it's an OCD type thing, but
I think it might be.
Yeah, it makes.
I think it might
people who it's like the game is over here and they're over here.
Yeah,
that's
what the fuck are they looking at? Like, come on.
It, but I'm also kind of freaking out right now.
Oh, hell yeah. Dude,
I don't think there's really wrong ways to stream.
No. Because in the end, who are we to determine it? We are just two consumers of it. And it even if we thought it was the shittest possible thing, which I generally don't think that way anyway, but even if we thought that's the worst possible way you could go about something, it wouldn't matter, because we're just two consumers out of fucking millions and millions who might think otherwise. Kind of how I say it.
No. It's weird. I feel supremely lucky that anyone tunes in. It's this.
Me too. I'm
like, what? Huh? It's
what now? Yeah, it's crazy, man.
But people are having fun.
Hell yeah.
And I want to support as many people to have fun and try it out as possible. So
Get supported.
Get in here. I had so much fun listening to you and Cranberry talk about your world excavations. You are global. You are globe trotters.
Oh, the trotting of the globe. Yeah.
I am an absolute rooted hometown person.
Hometown boy.
How it happened.
Is that by design? Is that just by chance? Is that not no desire for it, or what's the
By
story?
design.
By design, yeah.
By
yeah.
design. It is easier for me to function at a higher capacity in a familiar environment.
Yep.
That's just the plain and simple of that.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
And I never had, the nuclear family that said you get kicked out at 18 years old. That happened to my dad. He didn't like that. He was a great guy. And he came out to California from Colorado. He said, all right. He floated around Colorado for a bit, and then he just said his heart took him out here. And so I had a family that expressed their gratitude for where they were. I know a lot. That's a luxury, and I recognize that, and I'm grateful for that.
But that's good that they did, though. Like, to be able to do that and then to do that, I think is cool.
Because they came from a very off the grid situation. My mother and my father, they lived in this place called Covelo here in California, which is a very rural. They lived off well water. They lived off the grid, solar panels.
Well water, damn. Okay.
They did it. They did it, and it was not easy for them. So they did it, and then my sister was born. She's a little bit older than me, but Covelo was just too much for me coming along. So I was the catalyst for them moving back into a town, albeit very small town, but hopping back on the grid. But they took their time and chose a place to hop back in where I'm in. I always like, I'm like, cause I'm an artist, like a whole person who attempts to make art with the music thing. Like, I'm not afraid to dox myself because I like credit for the shit I put my effort into.
Yeah.
Because I like to initiate efforts and
fuck yeah, who doesn't like credit for the shit they pour their heart and soul into? Hell yeah.
I mean, it's a wild concept, right?
How dare you?
It sucks because a lot of people want to pay you with exposure dollars, but that's not exactly it. I just want, if something worked out, then I want it to have if the aliens come down and somehow they can read languages, they could see, oh, this nerd made this music in 2014.
Your shit is bumping on Nebulon 5 right now.
I hope so. So I like to say that but anyways, I just want to wrap up real fast and then I'll hop back to this. Is I've always had I've known a love for this house, so I learned to love this house. And it's an honor to have it as a piece of legacy now, and to be able to operate in the space I've kind of always operated in. It's just nice. I've written albums that have been played around the world here.
Man.
I've just experienced so much life here. I just had some great experience. I've healed here. Yeah. Is a big thing. Yeah. A lot of people have that get out of your hometown syndrome. It's like, why would I leave this place? I've hurt here a lot too, but I've healed here so much, and that's been a standout thing where I want to stay here and be invested in this place, and I'm okay with that. It's not for everyone. I'm not the greatest with travel. I've traveled across the United States at least when I was younger, but I've just been. It's been a weird thing because it's expected out of people in a lot that ways.
That's weird. Why do you think it's expected out of people? Because I kind of get what you're saying. Actually,
small town syndrome as well. That could be part of the small town syndrome. It seems like everyone always talking about, oh, I gotta go, and then it's like, where do you? But then when you ask, where do you go?
And why do you go? And what do you do when you get there?
There's so many fantasies, and I was just tired of fantasies for a long time. I was like, I have a place. Why shouldn't I invest into this? And I have invested into this, and there's plenty of sweat equity to be put into this home. There's a bathroom that needs to be tiled. There's There's an upstairs that need to be floored. There's ceilings that need to be painted. And I know that that's within my ability to do that because that was what my father did, and he left us plenty of materials to do that.
Mm,
So he was a builder, he was a laborer too, but more of a craftsman and carpenter kind of guy. But he was an electrician, plumber. He could build you a house, and he built. So he
That's a
found
skill
this
right
house
there.
here in Lakeport. It's a weird U-shaped house. My dad somehow he had the ability to see buildings that weren't there or parts of buildings that weren't there. And he
Mm,
saw a whole second story, and he saw another bedroom, and he saw another bathroom, and he saw another bedroom and a whole attic and all this shit. And I just like I'm blown away. Why would I walk away from this man's gift
yeah,
that he saw this and created it with his own hands?
yeah.
And like I will always treasure that. And I know not everyone has that type of relationship with their family, and like I hope people can have that type of like inspiration and relationship with their friends too, or your family, your friend
Mm.
family, or it's it's like I don't want this to be all about my family is the greatest, blah blah blah. I feel like
No,
these are
that's not how
experiences
it's that's not how
people,
it's coming off, man. Not at all.
because my family's just very small too, so it's like I would never like try to harm us through delusions of grandeur or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's like we are what we are. Like I feel like you alluded to, like lower middle class. That's
Mm,
just what I've always known my whole life, and I'm okay with that. My
mm,
sister had to work her ass off to go to school,
mm.
and she fucking did it. She's amazing, and I'm so proud of her. And I'm trying to try out some new things to at least say I did it. And I'm just trying to enjoy life and learn how to get older. Like this has
Uh,
been streaming's been a fun way to do that.
yeah, yeah, I
With
agree. I
I mean,
agree.
I've only
Dude.
been 30 for 1 year, but I'm allowed to start saying some grandpa shit
Oh,
like
of
this.
course you can. Of course you can. I was saying at 26. Um, there's so much in what you just said. I'm just thinking about it. Like, I think that's something like that's really quite powerful. Like that sense of place that you must have, and you
I
said
don't want to take it for granted.
no.
I
I mean,
like I will actively force myself to appreciate this.
yeah, yeah, no. But I think that's
I
something.
it allows me to share this.
Yeah,
So
no. I mean, this is awesome.
oh,
I love hearing this. Because this is very different to. I think you and it seems like we have a lot of crossover in terms of just, I don't know, modes of being and just being able to communicate and enjoy each other's company. But there's big differences in how we grew up, I think. And
yeah.
neither better or worse than the other, just different. But like that sense of place, and you said that you've hurt there, but you've healed there. Like I think and I go, wow, that's pretty powerful, dude. Like, and it's weird listening to you speak that and being very, very different in terms of how I've lived, and I'm happy to share that as well. I
Please.
I get it though. I get it coming from you. I get why that place means so much to you, and like it sounds to me that it's part of yourself almost. It's family legacy,
It's
which you're
a
part
pillar
of.
of
And
identity.
yeah, yeah. That's crazy, dude. That's crazy. Like I mean, it's not crazy, but I don't mean to say that you're crazy, but it's no, it's, I mean, I'm sure you probably are. We all are, but like, that's a crazy concept for me to think of living like that, because I think for
And I know
me,
it is to a lot of people, and I recognize that.
like, I think there's the external factors of travel has been commodified, and people, I think, with social media and whatnot, they consume travel as part of their identity, and there's a certain currency in it. Like, here's me in Bali doing yoga, like there's like that kind of bullshit where you try and make your friends jealous, but you say that you're trying to heal yourself, but really you're just a
The
narcissist.
FOMO sucks.
Yeah, there's that shit, right? The FOMO stuff.
People who are genuinely sharing, though, I'm like, I have learned how to live vicariously through that, and I really do appreciate that. And I love all your stories, and like I was enthralled while you and Cranberry were talking about everything. So
yeah, but I think, for me, I've never really felt like I belong anywhere. Like, and I think a lot of Australians have this. A lot of I should clarify. A lot of Anglo-European Australians probably have this.
Okay.
Where, because I can't speak for the Aboriginals, but like where in relative, I know the US is referred to, or North America is referred to as the New World, but like North America, the settlements there, that's old for Australian standards. Like we're like 200 and a bit years or whatever, and it's a very new world in terms of the way it's been, the settlements, the European Anglo settlements and whatnot. And there is everyone is a few generations, maybe one, maybe two. Like my very good friend, he's got family in Bangkok. I've got Scottish roots. Everyone has somewhere where they're ancestrally bound, and the ancestry is quite close. And so there's that, coupled with the fact that like even just in my family was very fractured growing up. There was a lot of kind of fucked up shit is probably the wrong way to put it, but there was a lot of fracturing and a lot of moving. I went to 13 different schools as a kid. Yeah, moved around. That was all out of my control, and so I've never really had a long period of life in one home. Like I've been in this home now for nearly 3 years, and that's maybe the longest I've been in any home.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that fucking crazy, right? I mean, it seems normal to me, but
how are you feeling there?
The weird thing is I'm ready to get out. I'm ready to get out of this house. Like but I love it. Like it's a great house. It's where I wanted to be. But I almost feel like was raised in my formative years to get into a habit of, after a time, start feeling uncomfortable and get out.
Yeah.
And that's weird. That's a weird place to be. And I think that's the, I definitely can't speak for Cranberry. I think he has his own story, and I wouldn't put words in his mouth, especially when he's not here.
We love you, Cran.
We love you, Cran.
Shouts to my man Cranberry Pudding, by the way. Please check him out.
Check him out. Check him out. Check him out. Wednesday night fights.
Ooh, Tekken.
But like, it's just crazy to me. I think a part of me wants to have a permanent home. Like I hear what you're saying. I go, ooh, but I don't really understand it. I want it, but I don't know how to understand it in a weird way.
Right.
So I hope one day, like I've been fantasizing recently over moving to the UK, moving to Scotland, and because my dad's Scottish, and
someplace you already have family.
Well, but it's weird though, because my dad was deported, and he's like over in the prison system in Scotland right now, and I was like trying to connect with him.
Out.
Yeah, well, I'll try. I was trying to sort of reconnect with him because I hadn't known him since I was like 5 years old, and it was also an excuse to go to the UK. I'd never been to Europe, and when I was over there, I got this like weird, not pride, because I didn't build anything there. I didn't do anything, but there was this sense of old world and permanence. And I think in a weird way, I kind of long for that. Deja vu, did you say? Yeah. Not so much deja vu, just the fact that things have been, like settlements have been there for longer, or well, there's been settlements here for a long time, but they were destroyed. But like the settlement that is there now has been there for so long, and there was this idea of permanence, and I'm like, oh man, I'm really attracted to that now. So when I hear you talking about your home the way you do, I'm like, damn, that actually sounds pretty great.
No, finding someplace with some depth to it, or someplace where you feel like you can add depth to it.
Yeah.
Like that's how I feel. It's like I want to add to the legacy in a way. It's very kind of romantic way to put it, I guess. But it's like I'm mostly just trying to survive and keep breathing and sucking air.
Aren't we all? Yeah.
It's really not too much more complex than that. But if I'm gonna try to bring any sense of pride into it, I guess I suppose they definitely draw from that. I want to ask you: do you find the home within yourself? Have you ever aligned or found any familiarity in like that kind of those kind of sentiments since you have had to go through moving so many times?
I think I've had to develop a sense of comfort with my own self, like with my own persona. And to keep myself company, and there's been an impermanence of friendships. Like I've been lucky in the last
interpersonal relationships.
Oh, absolutely. There's so many people that I was like very good friends with, and then they disappear and never saw them again. And it was before all social media, and that happened again and again and again. But I was lucky, some of my people that I met in my late teens, I'm lucky enough to still be friends with them.
Nice.
And they're not all of them, but a couple, and they're still, some of them are quite enriching friendships. And that's been something I've had to learn, but also like I feel like I've been that's like a weakness of mine. Like I haven't known how to nurture relationships. Like I'm very good at starting friendships because you sort of, you go here, you go there, and it's like I'm very good at like slotting in immediately and like just making people at ease and sort of figuring out what people are into and how to communicate with people. But
how to navigate that.
Exactly. But then it becomes a problem about a year in. It's like, oh shit, like I'm supposed to be out of here by now.
It's like defense mechanism on your part in a way, huh?
Little bit, yeah. Little bit.
Totally understandable.
But answering your question, therapist Audax, to answer your question, I think I do generally have a sense of where I am. Just I try and make that home, in my own self.
So of course, cycling back again on the creativity streaming thing. So I think video games can inspire us to be creative, obviously. I've written music, I've literally written a track called Thinking About Earthbound.
I saw that. I saw that today on your YouTube. I played the first one that stood out to me though was because I have a friend called Jack, and it was like something with Jack in it. Hypochondriac. So that was the first one I went to, but I saw that the Earthbound one was there. I noticed it. Sorry for butting in.
Yeah. So the classic house tribute track with the escalating tension building piano, the chord building itself. I was pretty happy with that one. That one got played over in the UK on a couple of podcasts. So
nice.
But yeah, so I have the track where I didn't even like sample Earthbound. I just made weird synth sounds that made me think of Earthbound because I was thinking about Earthbound. So it's just like it's this totally nothing that wouldn't have existed. It's this thing that wouldn't have existed if it weren't for Earthbound existing.
Yes, because you were thinking about it.
Put in on it.
Yeah.
And the same way recently, but the reason I got over onto this kind of idea is that so I was playing Diablo.
Oh, by the way, I loved that. That was I think that was the first time I spent like a considerable amount of time in your stream was when you were playing Diablo. I loved you had that like descending into hell. That was so sick. I loved that, dude.
I was just like inspired by playing Diablo to fuck with the filters on in OBS on the webcam, and just like I just wanted to add to the atmosphere of playing Diablo. And like I appreciate you hanging out. That made it a lot of fun because genuinely that was one of the things I had the most fun playing this year. I was so surprised just playing classic Diablo. Like I still can't even put my finger on it. There's just something about it where I was so comfortable playing the game. The chat flowing through was just so chill and natural. I never expected anything out of it because a lot of the times, as humans, one thing I've had to accept at least is that, and I think it's common. I haven't done any studies or anything that we can't help but have expectations. And to pretend to not have expectations
Yeah.
is toxic to yourself, and you can poison yourself. And because it's like builds up in you. And if you're pretending, oh, I don't expect anything out of anything. I mean, it's an ego thing. There are people I'm sure who can learn to, you know, get beyond that. I totally believe in the power of the human mind to get beyond that.
Yeah.
But as a casual, modern-ish human, a human,
A human.
we're fooling him, Porto.
We got him.
I hope I have more games and encounter. Like, that's the thing I'm getting at, is that becomes more uncommon the longer you stream, I think, is the point I would like to draw out of this.
Oh, don't tell me that. Don't tell me that, Mr. AudaxSmoke.
Oh, dig your heels in, Porto. It's like, I'm not like yeah, I'm like a couple months ahead of you guys, I guess, but it's not. I'm still haven't figured out any trick that I feel like you guys haven't figured out yet. So.
I think we're all baby boys. You're just like a slightly bigger baby boy. Well, we're baby boys and girls. I shouldn't speak for, there's more than just boys, but like, yeah, no, I think I've kind of experienced what you're saying though as well, with like where.
Oh, and I wanted to jump the point to with your latest stream is when you're doing Inside and you had the color flip, and I felt so happy because I felt like I was seeing what I was attempting to do with Diablo, someone else trying to attempt to do that.
Yeah,
just bring that little extra bit with the I don't know if we're using filter or actual lighting.
Okay, I'll show you what I was using.
Oh, you going deep with the lighting?
No, no. It's very, very DIY. Oh shit!
You got to do it yourself. Light gel over there. Okay. Behind the scenes content, everybody. This is we're pulling the curtain back. We're breaking the fourth wall. Ooh, yeah, cellophane. The light gel.
Cellophane.
The light gel.
Cellophane, boys. Cellophane. Cellophane.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
Okay, let me put myself back in here. There is something very kind of old school about me. I kind of like shit like that where I can just like make it happen. How did you do yours, by the way?
Oh, that was just filters in OBS. I'm not as hands-on.
I didn't even know you could do those filters in OBS. I guess I got to figure my shit out a little bit more.
Yeah, goof around.
I did I really enjoyed doing for Limbo. I did black and white. Which just really worked well. And now I just want to play black and white games because I kind of like that like classy look. But there's not many out there.
You just reminded me of one though. It's called Never-Ending Nightmares.
All right.
It's a short horror game.
Into the book we go. Never-Ending Nightmares sounds like 2020.
I would love to see, right? No, this is a charming little indie game. It's on Steam. I would love to see yours truly. No, that would be referring to me. Porto truly play this one.
Never-Ending Nightmares.
It's an interesting one. It was a good little indie jaunt. Very short. It's like 2.5, 3 hours.
Nice. I kind of
ending.
I like that format of games. I love an epic RPG. I'm very, very partial to an epic RPG. I love a good 30 to 100 hour experience. But I've grown into these kind of 4-5 hour things, or these like 3 to 5 hour, like kind of like just one long movie you can do in one stream, and like you can consume the whole thing, and like at the end just try and go like, now what the fuck was that just happened? Like
process it a little bit.
Yeah, I like that. And I think Limbo and Inside really did that for me. They really kind of like triggered that thing in my brain where I'm now looking for those a little bit more.
Okay, I think you'll like Never-Ending Nightmares. It's
the name tantalizes me already.
I'll have to look at it again too. Maybe it's a good one. And yeah, it's the whole thing about trying to like to figure out what to play next.
Big streamer question. What to play next?
Do you have the text document lists of stuff? Like I said, we were talking about the suggestions. It's not like we never took any.
I started with those. I would I'd obsess at night with the little notepad on my computer. Like I'd obsess all night over that, and I'd do all my research. I have changed that a little bit where, so the way I do things is I do 4 times a week, and I'll do the main big game, you know, which was Morrowind, and which was then Mass Effect, and which is now Fallout 3,
Right.
and which will be Demon
Oh,
Souls,
boy.
on and on and on. And then I sort of play shorter things around that I will be able to do, fit a few within that kind of era. And I used to like plan ahead. I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do that, and then that's gonna happen, and then I realized like things just change. You know,
Yeah.
your state of mind changes, suggestions, ideas change. I tend to just, the only one I know long in advance is the big one. Like I know I'm going to be playing Demon Souls in the future. I know I'm going to be playing Tribunal after that. I suspect I'll be playing Mass Effect 2 after that. Like I have this sort of general like timeline of the big ones, but I kind of now just play by ear. Like I don't know exactly what I'll be playing next Wednesday my time. I have no idea.
That's good. Play what you feel like playing. I hope you find something fun.
There's
That's all I
a
wish.
million things. There's a million things that are on the list that I'll eventually get round to. But like, I try to be a little more flexible now. That kind of stuff.
I think that's good. That's another thing I was taking September was do slightly shorter streams, more play what you want when you want to.
Mm.
I've kind of fallen into like I'm doing Dark Souls 3 regularly, but like I played a little bit more of Blazing Chrome the other night, and I was like, damn, now I want to play more of this. So I might.
That's a
play more
fun
of
game.
that.
Is that recent, by the way? Is that like an indie recent like retro
Last
style
year or
indie?
two.
Yeah,
It's so good. It's got the Contra elements, the Mega Man X elements. It's got some Shinobi Ninja Gaiden kind of elements later on. It's a quality run and gun. I highly recommend it. A little bit of Metal Slug in there. It's just a real good blend of things. It's
has an
it's usually
arcade
pretty
vibe.
cheap.
Like it's type of, I would like, I can imagine standing at a machine with that and just like cranking that for hours.
I'm so glad this shit doesn't cost quarters.
I know, right? Goodbye to pocket money.
It's but playing the challenge now, I'm trying to play that one on like hardest difficulty, and like again going back to trying to play games on harder difficulties. Like sometimes you just want the story. Like when I got to Resident Evil 2 remake, I was like, I just want to soak this in. So I'll let me play on normal mode. I don't play the hardest difficulty first off. And like I tried that with God of War on PS4, and don't do that. Don't
do it.
Play a lower difficulty first.
You know, there's some games that I'm good at. There are some games that I'm good at.
If you know you're good at a certain style of game, maybe go for the harder difficulty at first if you want. But
so I'm pretty good at TCGs. Like I'm pretty, like I played a ton of Magic the Gathering. And that's an online thing that people stream, but I don't think I'll ever stream it. I don't think I'll ever stream it. Yeah, I don't think I'll ever stream it. It's not, because I've sort of conceded in my mind that like my thing is not really about being very good at games. It's not about being bad at games. Like I'm not trying to be bad at games, despite what my chat might think. But
kind of this man, chat.
The amount of times I've seen, I think he's just trolling us now. Like I'm being really bad. I'm like, no, I'm fucking trying.
Not throwing.
But what you said about your approach to RE2, the remake, that's kind of how I approach all games on stream. That's how I approach all games on stream. Is just try and experience it. But I don't know, like I've rarely played something that I'm actually experienced with or good with. It might be nice to mix it up. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, you're playing more blind these days, right?
Yeah, and like things like that I know I'm not good at. Are
you against backseating? Because I have a channel that is backseating allowed. Tell me I'm being dumb. I like it if you let me try to figure it out a little bit first. But I'm not gonna lose my shit if someone drops the clue.
It depends on the game. It depends on who does it, and it depends on how they do it.
Like talking to the mods, or you're talking to Spudzy beforehand, being like, "Hey, if someone drops some bullshit, can you clear it so I don't get spoiled?" Or
I barely ever tell Spudzy what to do. I don't think I ever have actually. Like
Spicy's a pretty chaos agent.
he is self-defining. He's just a deterrent factor. But no, but like we really don't have any, like a few times I'll just be like, oh, okay, thanks for that, but like just know that if you want to manipulate me, there's better ways to do it. Like don't like try and get at me by suggesting things, and then eventually you'll learn how to manipulate me as a streamer. Like don't just straight out demand that I do things.
Have you felt any burnout at points?
Only with games that I just didn't want to play anymore. I felt burnt out. I felt more. It was more of a strain to there. Like there was a couple of instances in which I felt that what I was doing, I had to really force myself to be a good version of myself, and that's why I was like, I'm not going to do this anymore. Have you, Mr. AudaxSmoke?
Oh yes. I've admittedly hit burnout a couple times. I think I manage it well. Like I try to allow myself the days off that you just randomly need sometimes, just to feel human and just to focus on yourself. It's like it's like, you know, you can't love someone until you love yourself. So it's like you kind of have to bring that same approach to streaming in a way, and your own health. And it's just like, you know, be a like, I like to look at the that I'm piloting like the Gundam, like the you know, the Alan talking to you up here or the Audax talking to you up here is just like I'm just hitting the arm up and down button right now effectively. So I'm piloting the meat robot, and that helps me to remember, oh, I need to fuel the meat robot, I need to let the meat robot rest,
That's something I need to learn to get better at, actually. Fueling the meat robot.
Yes. No, it's so I've had as far as burnout goes, I've had huge appetite drop offs where you feel like obviously you don't need to eat. You have, for me, it comes hand in hand with hypomania, where I am on the up cycle, at least for me, as up as I can get. And then so that makes it harder to eat always. But then just when you're tired and you're still forcing yourself to go through the motions, like the last thing you care about is eating. You're focused, like maybe because I deal with hyperfixation sometimes. Like I think I know the answer, and I'm like okay, I gotta bang my head against this wall or whatever. And that was like, you know, maybe that was streaming as often as damn possible, and then that wasn't maybe the key. So it's like I mean, I don't know what is the key at this point. I'm wondering, you know, I'm always wondering, like, more days a week, less days a week, longer hours, less hours, do multiple streams in one day, maybe morning stream, evening stream.
Possible.
It's hard to figure it out, and I've tried changing schedule a couple times, but I've fallen back into the usual thing. Like, how have you felt about scheduling and like just trying to stay regular, I guess, and also taking care of yourself and all that?
I'm pretty happy with my schedule, and that may change as I think my schedule is partially for the stream. Well, it's definitely for the stream, but it's also for me because I like the regularity of having a function. I like the routine,
especially during all
this stuff. I like the routine. I'm like, I get up at this time, and then I have time to do that, and then I start doing what is essentially my job now. And I don't look at it as like a drudgery, like a job, but it's my function. You know, it's like, now I'm going to do the thing that I do. And so I started with 3 days a week. Well, no, I started just like you did, just spewing out streams when I felt like doing it. And then I kind of got excited about it and moved. I'm like, I'm going to do 3 days a week. And then I got extra excited. I'm like, you know what? Fuck, I'm going to do 4 days a week. And I shuffled around the schedule a little bit, but now I have a thing where I just go bam, and I just do 4 consecutive days and have 3 days off.
I like it.
And that works well for me because it works like a work week. But like it's and I get to the end, so tomorrow will be my final one for the week, and I do the longest one then. I get a little loose towards the end of it. Yeah. And that's when if I'm going to get banned, that's when I'm going to get banned. And let's fucking go. Ban me. Don't ban me. Please don't ban me.
Fine. And put that toe across.
Straddle that motherfucker.
No, please don't lose. No, please, we need you, Porto.
And but then I get time off, and the time off I do, I spend on stuff behind the scenes, which you know all about, and also getting to hang out in other people's streams, like, and not, and feeling like I love having a day where I wake up and I'm like, all I've got to do today is I want to go out, get some vitamin D, go for a little jog, feed myself food, and hang out, see who's streaming, and hang out for a few hours in their stream and just chat with them and watch what they're up to. And it's like I like become those days where I'm become the consumer again, and well, not the consumer's kind of a cold way to put it, but you know what I mean. Become a member of the chat again.
Yeah.
And it's really working for me personally right now, and so that's something that I'm pretty happy with at the moment.
See, it's a familiar thing I would run into with music, actually, that I've found again as a streamer, where you can do this as a streamer, and you can sort of do this in music, but you can't really write wholly original songs while listening to other people's music. Is something at least I encountered as a musician. Like, you can jam along with things and add on to, but it's like if you're focused in writing a complete original Porto piece, you're probably going to turn Tupac off in the background.
It's interesting that you would mention Pac, because Pac would be an influence. Fucking love Tupac.
Hell yeah.
Fucking love Tupac.
From what I gather, you seem to be hype on the sampling. I want to hear whatever beats are in Porto's mind. Yo, give me something to flow over. What you got?
So I was.
You have any past musical?
Yeah,
hidden talent?
I've actually never spoken about this. Well, I have, but not. So you
Dragged it out of him.
You got it out of me. I was never like a great beat maker, but I've definitely I know my way around an MPC basically, and with sampling and stuff like that. It's just fun. It was just fun for me. Like in an ideal world, I would just have a little setup for that as well, and I would never share any of it with anyone. It would be entirely for me.
Well, you got to do it. No, that's how I approached music when I was starry-eyed and was attempting to make more out of it than it ever really became. And it's a funny thing to add to our opposites attract type situation is differing from you and Cranberry again. I've always been a bedroom studio guy. I've never played a show. I mean, I've streamed me jamming online. That's about the closest you'll get to a show. I like to do more, like the greens. Kind of incorporating this into, just general stream, but what do you think of like green screens and stuff? Or do you ever have any plans to get one? Because I feel like more so lately, I'm like maybe considering it.
I think it depends again on what you're trying to do it, and what I don't think I will personally. However,
what do you think of them?
I think they're very good. I think they're very good. Like, I think some of my favorite streamers use green screen. Sorry. I think it's a great way to get more game in. I think it's more immersive in game, and I think I like that it puts you game. Whereas like the setup that both of us use is like you box room playing game external, but kind of next to the thing, like.
I think there's a place for both.
Obviously. I do too.
And some of my favorite streams are just like, hanging out in someone's bedroom with them. So it's like, that's why I'm like, yeah, you're just here with me, everybody.
Yeah, I think you will gain something, but you'll lose something. Like I'm sure there's people that will, if you did it, will say like, I miss the space. But then there'll be people like, oh wow, this looks so professional, or this looks like I'm in the game, or something like that. Right. No, I'm cool with it. Like, for example, Dala. I don't know if you know Dala, another great streamer. Yeah. He used. I remember the first time I saw his stream, and he was like green screen straight up, and I just associate that with him. Like, I don't have any idea of what space he's in. He's just in the digital sphere of whatever fucking game he's playing, and like, so I identify that with him now. What's that?
So do you wonder though, or is there like, what does his space look like? Does that ever cross your mind, or are you just so accepted and used to that, this is just what $1 deal is? It's great.
I
You
guess
speed run it.
I guess it's crossed my
Throw it down.
mind. Yeah, fucking outrun speedrunner extraordinaire. I guess it's crossed my mind, but there's just an acceptance that that is the space. Like there is still like there's screen space, right? Like, and he just exists in a room with chat. There's just chat where he lives, and then there's a there's a game. No, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it.
See, and yeah, there's just like some weird little tricks that I don't see a lot of other streamers use, but there's like one of my favorite guys who inspired me to get into the whole deal was this guy Bitter Bits.
Good name.
This guy Nick.
Good name.
He's a great guy. He like him and Hayel, who was like I kind of attribute those two as like the main people that like
I've
had so much fun.
Low-key seen Hayel
watching their. She's just got the coziest, comfiest streams, and it's just fun to see her just dissect games and just I don't know. I really like the flow of the chat in her room. It's,
that's important. That's really important, I think.
And like I met Bade Waxter, a great guy who's regular on my channel over there, and just a lot of other great streamers, Luna, and there's Yoshi. There's a couple of cool people I've met based off. Oh, DJ Mule was a guy I was watching today. Did a Dark Souls 1, Soul Level 1 completion. I got to catch 3 of the bosses, so that was sick.
What a sicko. Level 1. Damn.
No, that's what if I am going to do another Souls challenge run, that's the one I'm probably going to do next, is the Dark Souls 1 no level up run. But I wanted to shout back out to the green screen ideas that Bitterbits Nick, what he does is, so he's got himself on the green screen, but what he does is he'll like drag the source of the green screen and like bounce it around the screen, like he's like moving along with the. It's just this weird like, like almost like when you're sticking like a puppet up for like an old school puppet show, and you're like just kind of bouncing it around and stuff, like doing that with himself.
That's great.
It's and like sliding himself like along the screen like that. There's some fun production that goes in there that if I had the opportunity, I would definitely emulate that. I think a lot of. Go ahead.
No, you go.
I just said I think a lot of finding what we like doing on our own streams comes from watching what other streams and seeing what we enjoy over there.
Absolutely. Yeah, getting ideas and trying to make your own take on it. I love that. I love seeing like when someone does something new, like, oh, I see what you did there. And not like, oh, I'm now just going to completely bite their style, but like maybe 3 months or 3 weeks down the line or whatever, you would just be like, oh, and I remember how so-and-so did that, and then I could put that there. Like, I really enjoy watching the creative growth or the production value growth of other streams.
It's weird because you'll encounter little tricks and you'll think like, why didn't I know this sooner? Well, like, I think I don't know if a lot of people are doing the like the filters on their mics is something I started doing sort of early, and like I ended up helping some other people like figure it out for their stuff because it was an easy thing for me because I use the program Reaper. There's a digital audio workstation called Reaper, made by the guy who made Winamp.
Nice.
There's a good little connection there, and there's a way to get the plugins from that music program and apply them to your mic in OBS. So I knew like I have my EQ that I've used with all my music for almost 10 years. And I was able to just shape and make like a nice little mic EQ. I don't know if we'll pick up as much because we're in Discord and I'm not running through my OBS filters, but I'm okay with where my audio's at on my stream. I think you could always improve. I'm always worried about the mix. I'm like, is the game too loud? I'm always asking chat.
Dude,
is the game too loud?
I think I know him.
I asked you before we even started. I was like, oh, should we check if I'm too loud or who's too loud?
Let me just check right now. No, I think we're at the right levels right now.
I already jinxed you with the headphones. I don't need to jinx the audio.
Nah, I worry about that shit as well so often. Like, and it's true. Like, I've heard it said that people think that the webcam is the most important thing, and I mean, you definitely know this because you're involved in making music, but audio is more important. Like the audio, the quality of the audio of your game sound, of your mic, I feel like that can, when someone has like shitty audio, crackly, whatever, you know, that can take you out of whatever's happening so much quicker than like a grainy webcam or something like that. Like I can put up, I'm fine with a grainy webcam. I'm fine with like, you know, something that doesn't look that impressive if it's a good person. But if it's like, or even no webcam, but if the sound is like bad, like that's the thing for me, the sound of the voice. And that's, so I'm always worried about it. And I actually think I might have to upgrade this mic eventually for the same reason.
That's, yeah, just stream gear in general. Like I'm, you know, trying to use, mostly what the stream pays for me is the internet bill and my phone bill.
Yes.
Like I've been able to have that done reliably, and that's been very nice. I have a cushion to cover some other things and ways to cover some other things.
Yeah, those $20 ounces that you're apparently getting. God damn.
Don't worry about it. You'll find that you'll experience something like that one of these days.
Well, Spudsy's gonna gay marry me so I can become a US citizen, and then I'll be getting all the $20 ounces. That's right, Spudsy. Come on now. It can be a marriage of convenience. It's fine.
The gay weed. It's the best. So that's wonderful. It's just stay stoned, please, Porto. You'll get there eventually. Once all this quarantine stuff is over.
I'll be back. Audax, we're at 3 hours and 36 minutes. Let's maybe start trying to wrap this bad boy up. No, it's been great. I could go for another 3.5, but probably 3 a.m. for you or something. What's coming up? What's coming up in the near future for you, dude?
Oh dear. Yes, no, thank you so much for having me, man. This has been a blast. Time's been flying.
I hope you come back sometime. I would love to have you back because I feel like we've got more to talk about. In fact, I didn't even look at my fucking list. I got a list of things I was supposed to speak about with you.
A list. Don't worry about it. No, I'm down. And then I want to catch up with you more on Discord. I want to hop in some of the community nights that I know you do.
Dude,
that's what's coming up is Audax trying to figure out how to get in on more Porto community nights. September's more of just like a play whatever month. We're working on Dark Souls 3. We're playing the Audax playthrough, all axes. Oops, all axes. How'd we get here?
Coming at you from all axes.
Oh yeah. Different angles of axe attack. We will be just kind of fumbling our way through September doing that. Other things, think about like Demon's Crest. There's a hidden ultimate final boss. I never really tempted. There's a hard mode on Kirby's Star Stacker Super Nintendo version that I got the translated ROM to work. Our favorite cosmic terror.
Delightful.
Thrown down with a children's puzzle game.
Yes.
So there's random stuff I might try out throughout September, but in October I'm going to try and actually do a spooky push with Evil Within 1 and 2.
Oh shit! I'm in. My PC can't run it, so I'm going to live it vicariously through you.
I'm nervous about 2. 2
I think it
is a beautiful game. I hope I can stream it smoothly. The graphics card has been getting a little loud, but it can still do Sekiro well, so I think I'm fine. And then I want to play Death Road to Canada for a week. I'm going to play that. If you want to hop in chat and get a character made, I will do my best to not get them murdered. No promises. Really, no promises at all. And then Resident Evil 1 is tentatively on board. The remake, it ran weird the last time I tried to stream it.
The remake?
Yeah.
Dude, that's one of my favorite games of all time. I love that game. It's
so good, but it ran like it was underwater for some reason.
That's weird.
I never encountered this trouble on PC. I've beaten it a couple times on PC. I'm very bad at the game. I'm very slow, but I've never been able to beat under like 3 hours or whatever. I'm more like I don't think it's 8 hour.
Dude, I take 12 hours to beat that game. Fuck, I don't care. It's just it's just fun to be in.
The atmosphere is amazing. The voice acting is pretty good overall. There's some fun stilted stuff at points.
It's a little cheesy, but in a good way.
It hits all the right spots. I feel like I have unfinished business with that since it ran weird on me on stream. And then
beautiful game.
maybe some casual Bloodborne. because I haven't revisited Bloodborne since the
Yes.
challenge run.
Marvelous, marvelous.
Otherwise, just chilling, trying to spend time in great channels on Twitch.
Fucking A,
hang out
dude.
with people.
I look forward to seeing more of what you're up to. It's been an
Thanks a lot.
absolute pleasure, my dude. Can
Cheers.
I plug you? I mean, I'll probably try and drop some things, links to your stuff. Is that cool that I can do that?
Yeah. Thank you.
Excellent, dude. Anyway, we're getting the fuck out of here.
Follow this man too. Follow this man.
Yeah, follow me. What are you doing here if you're not following me already? Get the fuck out of here. Follow me. All right.
Over on Twitch.
Love you guys. Love you, Audax. Thank you so much, dude. Peace.
Love everybody.